Last time on True Route Radio, we spent an hour and a half covering 4 conferences. How did we spend nearly 2 hours covering the last 2? And who the hell is Austin Eruption? Find out this time on True Route Radio.
Sony, I'm gonna call them out on this because there are a lot of cool games they showed before having their press conference that they could have put in a press conference, but they didn't.
Yeah, I see there's even stuff, like, you listed a lot. You listed 8 games that they showed either before or after the conference, but like they showed even more than
you missed
too.
everybody's golf.
I did. Okay, so I'll go down this list of games that I put down that didn't show.
Yeah.
They didn't show Sport during the conference, Gran Turismo. They didn't show Matterfall. They didn't show Ni no Kuni 2, which actually looks pretty good. They didn't show Knack 2, Game of the fucking Year.
Knack 2,
Game
baby!
of the life.
Knack 2, baby!
What if it's real good, though?
Of course it's gonna be good, Austin. You think this is a fucking game?
They didn't show Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which is almost out, and it looks pretty good. And they didn't show Super Hot VR, which is the most exciting thing. They didn't show Tropico 6, which some people like, and
I think Sony missed the biggest opportunity to have Undertale presented on stage and have a bone that says cool dude on it right across on a skateboard.
so they missed out on that.
It would it would have been super cool if Undertale had managed to squeeze into the press
Yeah,
conference.
and just, you hear Bone Trossel on stage played by a live orchestra. That would be the fucking coolest thing. Sadly.
The bongos, man.
Oh god, it would have actually been pretty legit.
I
but-
mean, like,
yeah.
that game is going to have a second wave, because now it's available to a totally different audience that isn't into, like, niche PC gaming fandom stuff. You know?
And, like, it's going to be big in Japan, and because a lot of people in Japan still don't really use PCs as a gaming platform, so I think this is going to take off again.
Yeah, I hope it does. Now, that was one of the big features for this version, was the Japanese translation, so...
It's Undertale, the second coming. Get ready.
Yeah, I'm excited to get that Vita version.
Okay, Days Gone. What do you guys think about that?
I have not been so unenthused about a game in a very long time. That game is being developed, and I shit you not, less than a mile from my house at Bin Studios.
Oh, yeah?
And and I really want to be excited for it, because, like, oh, cool, local pride or whatever, even though Bin sucks. It does. It's so yuppie. It looks so boring to me. I like the idea of an open world motorcycle game. I like the idea of, like, gruff motorcycle apocalypse. That's cool. But everything they've shown just looks so mediocre, and they have that World War Z zombie thing going on where they're like this big, stupid looking hive mind, and I'm not about it. I'm not about it at all.
I gotta say, this trailer was better than the last one.
Sure, yeah, it was better than the last one.
I have a hard time agreeing with the notion that everything looked mediocre more than boring.
Sure, okay.
Because I think everything on display was pretty high quality. Just thematically and artistically, maybe not that interesting.
That's a better word.
And I actually totally agree with that. It looks, I mean, it's plain. Like, the massive zombies is kind of the thing. So, like, I'm very much waiting on reviews for this one.
Yeah,
I gotta say, it's like, if this review's out as like a 7.0 kind of game, then I don't know if I'm in.
Yeah, same.
It's hard to be really thrilled about it, I guess, right now for me. But I guess I'm open to it in the same way I am State of Decay, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably get some plates from some people calling us SJWs and stuff like that, but I think a lot of this game could have just looked better if it was a different protagonist.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it was a create your own character thing, I think I would be more interested in it. Just this guy does nothing for me.
He's like the dude from he just reminds me of the dude from Ride to Hell Redemption, but now he's in a game that might not be broken.
This is the sequel to that.
Yeah, clearly.
I was watching your stream on it, Liam, and you made a point how the game actually might be more interesting if you imagine him as the bad-asshole bandit that survives the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, when you see...
I think that makes it more appealing in that sense.
When you see him, like, get the other camp of humans with a mass of zombies, like, that's some shit. I wonder if that's gonna be a theme. Like, I think that's kind of gonna be the make or break thing for the game, is like, does the story and characterization actually go to interesting places? I mean, it's the same thing with like The Last of Us, right? Like, had the story and characterization in that game been incredibly bland, who would give a shit about The Last of Us? You know, like I think they're actually very comparable at like a high level. Just looking at them, where like everything on display in both games is very quality, but it's just all going to be the story and the writing that really determines whether it's something special or just another zombie
because
game, you know?
I like the idea of having a protagonist that, because in every other zombie medium you get the moral dilemma of here going, well, I'm the main character, so everything I do is morally right, and they'll have people say, no, you're wrong. This guy seems just like an asshole from the start, and if they keep that in that sense, I think that's a little bit more interesting.
Does he?
Yeah, that's why I like Kenny so much in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
He's really interesting. He's a good
like,
guy, but
depending on how you approach Kenny, in your playthrough, he'll either be like the worst, most asshole, annoying person, or he'll be someone you really sympathize with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like he's one of those like protects his own kind of guys. So like he's a good guy when he wants to be, but like yeah, if you're on his bad side, then get fucked for sure.
I wasn't really sensing the is a bad guy vibes from the trailer.
I was getting that just because he's willing to use zombies just to kill random people.
Well, I mean, he's protecting his own crew, so that's like...
They kidnapped his buddy.
Yeah, and like that trailer is him going to retrieve his buddy against like people who are bandits or shitty people. So I don't know. I wasn't really getting the like, you know, red dude with an attitude kind of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just like, there's no shaving cream in the apocalypse. Like that's more so what I was feeling, at least.
I feel you. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to wait for opinions on this game after it comes out.
Sure.
Because doing nothing for me. This next game did a lot for me. Fucking Monster Hunter World. Holy shit.
Alrighty.
Monster Hunter. More of it. It's fine. It's good. Go.
All right, so I'm a big fan of grappling hooks in games. So Bionic Commando, Attack on Titan, Lost Planet. As soon as I saw the grappling hook in this thing, I was like, okay, let's go.
Yep. It's Freedom Wars had the right idea.
Oh yeah, it's that one too.
Now every other hunting game's catching up.
Finally.
Okay.
Finally.
You guys want to talk about how the Switch port of Double Cross apparently is uncertain right now?
I'm bummed.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on World too.
Okay. Let's hear them, Liam.
So, thanks, Thomas Trong. I'm really happy to hear that it's by the exact same core team, and for all intents and purposes, this may as well be Monster Hunter 5. It's not another team. It's not another director. It's the same guys who made 4. So I think that's really cool, because the main thing that like worried me when I saw it was like, I wonder if this is going to be like an aggressively streamlined version that's a bit more aimed at the West. You know, you can already see the color palette's a little more muted. A little worried about that, but then when the interviews and the news started coming out, I don't know if you guys saw, but like a 20-minute behind closed doors
I saw links of it go up
viewing
around.
of the gameplay, was leaked all over the place. I was really worried about that, but in the end, I think no, like it's in good hands, and it'll be an interesting, exciting thing to see, I guess.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's just cool. But yeah, on to the less happy news.
So to listeners, since this wasn't covered in E3, Monster Hunter Double Cross was announced in Japan for the Switch, but unfortunately at this time, Capcom of America has said that they have no plans to localize it at this moment.
It's like Gyakuten Saibon all over again.
So when I posted a thing about the new Monster Hunter getting canned for the Switch, there's a lot of, well, World's coming out anyway. And I'm like, you realize there is going to be a lot of time between the two, number one, and they're not even competing games. They're not. One is
Not really.
One is a Switch game, and it's a portable game. And the others are a console, PC, big AAA looking thing, and by comparison. And I don't understand why it was canceled. Apparently there was something in the leak about Sony paying for that to happen, but I don't believe that.
That's been unsubstantiated so far.
Sure.
But
I'm really upset by that, because that was like a Switch game that I could just lay in my bed and play Monster Hunter with friends, you know?
I mean, to be honest, I genuinely do think it's gonna be localized. Like, I think that like the way it's come out has been the shittiest, and I wish they had been more forward with it. But like, I don't know. I would be surprised if we didn't get it at some point or another, whether it's next year or whatever.
Didn't they say they have no plans though?
at the time.
Okay.
We're getting that Monster Hunter Stories game. So I have a feeling we'll probably get this, especially considering that the Switch is selling pretty well. Like, that's money that they could be making. And I don't think they're going to... It's Capcom. They're not going to turn that down.
That's kind of my sentiment, is like they're localizing Monster Hunter stuff now. And I think they probably just really wanted to keep the focus on World.
Sure.
And I hope that all it is everything just shook out badly and they look terrible right now, but we actually are going to get Double X. I hope that's what the situation is.
They're kind of just stuck in this hard spot where they can't really just say anything. So
yeah, I reviewed X and I enjoyed it when I played that one a lot. I would have enjoyed it more if it was not in the 3DS.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the Switch port looks nice, and I hope we get it. I mean, now granted, it is region free, so if we don't get it, we can play the Japanese version, but navigating those menus in Japanese does not sound fun for me.
It, like, for me, I was like, you already had most of the game translated already, so right. I don't know, copy paste a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just frustrating, because that was like not one of the main reasons I got a Switch, but one of the reasons I was like, oh fuck yeah, you know. I've skipped a couple Monster Hunters. However, if World is going for more of a I'm going to use the word accessible, even though we kind of talking about how it's the same people. It looks like it could possibly be a little less time consuming than a normal Monster Hunter game. I'm
totally fine with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
That's fine with me too, because if anything's the thing I don't like about Monster Hunter, it's the speed.
You don't like spending 300 hours to be decent?
It's just, well, no, I mean, like the minute-to-minute speed. It's the slowest of all the hunting games on the market, you know? Like,
the last one I played was God Eater, too, so I'm like...
And that's, like, the fastest, yeah. No, I don't know. I guess one thing I'll say is after I shared it on Twitter, and I was just looking around the internet to see what people were saying about the double-cross situation, there were some good jokes in there, as in... Capcom's double-crossing Nintendo fans.
Hey.
But you know, welcome to being a Vita fan. like when I saw people saying, "Oh my God, they're betraying Nintendo fans. We've been buying Monster Hunter on 3DS for years, and now they pull this." I was just like, there was a, you know, don't get me wrong, I want the game to come out, but there was a little Schadenfreude in my heart where I was just like. That's what
it's like being a Silent Hill fan compared to a Resident Evil fan.
Yeah. But to be clear, I'm not actually shitting on people. I do want the game to come out, but it was a bit funny seeing those comments after like years before when 3DS fans were like, "Hey, yeah, Monster Hunter," and the Sony kind of lost that.
Yeah, we've been crying for like 6 years now.
For generations.
8.
What a turbulent life cycle for a series.
Shadow of Colossus. I'm actually excited for this because the PS3 version was kind of bad.
Yeah. Same.
It's Shadow of the Colossus.
It looks pretty. I gotta say, I'm happy that it seems to be happening with such immediacy. Like, it seems like it's gotta be coming out next year. I would be shocked if it took longer than that. Awesome, cool. I don't mind getting more Fumito Ueda games faster, even if they're not new games. Like, that's fine. I'll take this. Do Eco next, please. You know, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I never finished Shadow of the Colossus, so I'm actually really excited. I had the ending spoiled for me and all, but like this looks like the version to play.
Now you will possibly get a better experience than other people.
Yeah,
so it's good. It's good. No, I mean, it looks really good though.
Yeah,
seriously,
I mean, it's been over a decade
nice,
since the definitive first version of the game came out, so I'm down for more.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's gonna be a loss because I know how to beat all the Colossus now, so you don't spend 20 minutes figuring out how do I deal with this boss, but at the same time, it looks really visually it looks really good.
And hey, maybe they'll add in that cut content.
I heard that they're apparently keeping it the same, sadly, but
yeah,
which is a shame since there's like they cut like 7 Colossi that looked really cool.
I hope they just catch up with hunting games and add in a grappling hook.
Yeah.
Someday.
That would.
I want hunting games to catch up.
What would trivialize Shadow of the Colossus the most? Like a fucking grappling hook. Yeah, you're right though. Yeah. I don't think it would be that fun to fight Colossus repeated times, like multiple times.
It already is a problem in Monster Hunter sometimes.
Yeah.
You mean you don't want to fight the Rathalos 50 times?
Yeah, but what if you had to climb Rathalos for 5 minutes to do any damage?
Okay, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Gameplay looks okay. Visually, it looks like the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gameplay is honestly, it's fun. It is a fun game to play, and like I was watching Maximilian's footage and shit. Looks like a real good game, but like, boy, some of them Capcom character models, not the Marvel ones. The Marvel ones are fucking fine.
I'm pretty sure.
And also Mega Man, they look good too.
Yeah.
But a lot of the Capcom characters look a little dicey.
Well, because a lot of you can tell from 5, a lot of character models were outsourced to different people, and it seems like the same situation here, where some artists just failed.
I'm inclined to think so. Did you guys play the story demo? That was like the big announcement.
I just watched
was
your
the
video
release
on
date
it.
and story.
Yeah, I
demo.
didn't check it out yet.
It's, I wish I could say I liked it more than I do, because the gameplay is really fun, but you get to play very small snippets of it. The story is nothing. It's so nothing. Like, they should hire a writer next time. And the loading times, it's not that they're long per se, but they're intensely frequent. Like, you probably spend 30 seconds in the demo. You spend probably 30 seconds in a load for every match you play, and the matches can last 30 seconds.
And then you got 5 minutes
good
of
one.
cutscenes in between that too.
Against.
And I'm actually not a big fan of that kind of storytelling in Street Fighter 5 and Injustice, stuff like that, where it just shows you a bunch of cutscenes, then you fight as characters you don't really know how to play. I actually prefer like the Shadow Lords thing from Killer Instinct or some other things where you get to use who you want and get to have different modifiers in that sense.
I even think that Mortal Kombat X did a better job than like Injustice, because Mortal Kombat X was like, it gave you at least like quick time events to do, which was like it was something, it was something.
Oh yeah, Injustice had that too, the first one. Yeah,
I didn't play the first Injustice story mode actually, only a second one.
I like aspects of Tekken 7's story mode.
Kind of. It didn't really
like how it opens. It's pretty great.
Yeah,
Sure.
this isn't a Tekken 7 spoiler cast, so I won't go into details, but I think
yeah.
that story was kind of bad, and it
was very bad.
Don't tell me that.
It ended
Oh,
on the kind of
fuck,
it
don't
didn't
tell me
really end
that.
anywhere either. It could just go straight into Tekken 8 and everything's completely the same, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, most of the problems were just presentation, because they were like, this story is told through the eyes of a newspaper journalist person. I could have just said journalist. What?
Newspaper person.
Newspaper journalist person. But yeah. Yeah, no. MVCI needs work.
I think even Tekken 6 had a better story mode with its Tekken Force kind of going through actual campaign level things.
I liked that a whole lot, honestly. But yeah, Infinite doesn't look great to me, and especially that roster is very unimpressive.
It's so small.
To me.
Gamora looks great. I'm so happy they picked that design for Gamora and not the MCU design.
Yeah.
Like, she looks fucking
She
awesome.
looks rad.
Yeah, so does Captain Marvel.
Design-wise,
Yeah.
the graphics in game look kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited for it because again, the gameplay is super legit.
How close is it to 3? Like, does it stand on
you
its
could
own, or should I
definitely-
just play 3? Like, really, that's...
No, it's its own thing. It's totally its own thing. Obviously, like, until like the unfortunate thing about the story demo is there's no training mode and there's no straight up versus mode. So it's like hard to get a real feel outside of little 30-second snippets. But the fighting was like, it was fluid and it was tight. Like, it was really good. And if you check out like Maximilian's channel, he had a bunch of gameplay that he recorded at E3.
Oh, cool.
And there's a bunch of matches you can see from E3 because they did have a build with multiplayer there with some top players and Combo Fiend, who of course works at Capcom, showing off some shit too. It looks super legit, and like it does look like the same kind of jump between Marvel and Marvel 2 and Marvel 2 and 3 and now 3 and this, where it's like, yeah, it's a different game. They're all worth playing for their own reasons, but yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, I don't think it's worth sleeping on Marvel 3 either. But this game looks like it's going to be perfectly good in its own right, too. At least as far as the gameplay goes. The story mode, I don't fucking know.
It is interesting that we saw a bigger reveals, I guess, of MVCI and Dragon Ball Fighter Z at the same time, because the difference in quality, and just like, I know like they're totally different, but they're similar in the way that they're like fast-paced multiple character fighters and stuff like that, and like one just grabbed my attention so much more than the other.
No, for sure. Well, I mean, when you're Marvel Infinite, you're watching the Xbox press conference and you see the guy she tells you about, like, fuck,
Yeah.
what do you do, you know? Like, like, shit. I know a lot of people, like, have kind of said that they're a bit turned off of Marvel Infinite in the light of Dragon Ball Fighter Z being so cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. See how it all pans out.
All right. Call of Duty World War II, or as I like to call by the font, I Exam.
It looks all right.
I
It looks pretty good. I'm actually kind of excited for it.
It's
Like,
fine. Yeah, it's fine, but I don't really have much to say because it's just Call of Duty for me again. So
Yeah, sure.
I thought this was a Resistance game.
I wish. I wish.
I thought it was a Resistance game because I saw there was a newspaper in the trailer that said Invasion, and I'm like, oh, Invasion, World War II time, that's got to be
I
Resistance.
wish, man. I miss those games.
And then I was like, wait, no, that is how World War II happened. Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, they're all good. Not really my thing, but they're good. So I'm sure it'll be
I'm
good.
excited. I think that going back to the past is a better idea for Call of Duty than going even further into we're kind of Halo, but we're not going to really commit to that kind of thing they're going. I think putting boots in the ground in an actual war again is a really good direction. And I just hope I hope it lends the story. I hope it lends that war the gravity it deserves instead of just being like 360 no scope, but you're killing Nazis.
is that just a word going around now? Boots on the ground? Because I hear that everyone say that now about Call of Duty. And
Man,
I think that's one of the buzzwords they're trying to promote.
man, like that was viral marketing worked. I just used that without thinking.
Dang, son.
all right. I guess the next section, I'm really glad they are still thinking about VR because there were a lot of stuff they showed.
It was a good VR section, honestly.
Yeah.
Final
Even
Fantasy
Skyrim by
15.
itself, we talked about, but people interested in that.
Yeah, so Skyrim VR, I mean, it's Skyrim Enhanced Edition, quote unquote, in VR, so that'll be what that is.
When they announced the Inpatient, I didn't know that was the same people who made Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that would have made me much more excited if I knew it was related to that. So I'm glad we talked about it last episode with the Nier stuff. But remember that one guy asked the question, do you think the game would have been better off if it was just called something else besides Nier Automata? And now we know what a reaction would be.
Well, actually, what might excite you even more is not only is it the same people who made Until Dawn Supermassive, but it's also canon.
Yeah, apparently it's a prequel.
It takes place in the sanatorium 60 years before Until Dawn.
Oh, wow. I thought it looked familiar. Like, I thought that setting looked familiar.
To be honest, I'm really surprised it's not called Until Dawn The Inpatient in the same way as Until Dawn Rush of Blood is called Until Dawn Rush of
Yeah.
Blood. I don't know why. Maybe they're scared of oversaturating that, but I think more people ignored the game than would have paid attention had it said Until Dawn.
Even if they said from the makers of Until Dawn, I would have been more interested because I think so. This pretty much answers the questions of would the game have performed worse in terms of reception if they didn't have Nier attached to it.
That has me more interested now that I know that, though. I mean, I'm already about VR horror because like survival horror is like my favorite genre and all, but like now that I know it's by the Until Dawn guys and it's like the prequel, I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're also making a game called Bravo Team, which is the most generic name for a game I've ever heard.
Oh boy, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have no interest in this if I didn't A, have a VR headset, and B, already have an aim controller. Like,
You might as well.
it feels like it's made for the people who bought Farpoint and for the people who bought Farpoint. That's it. I don't see why anyone else would be interested in it. It looks so bland. Fucking buy Farpoint instead.
I don't know
of this.
why you guys
Like
haven't
shit.
brought up the best VR game.
Moss.
Final Fantasy 15, Master of
getting
the
to
Deep.
Yeah,
I
Creatures
think
of the
they
Deep.
missed opportunity.
Creatures,
Just
yes.
call it Final Fishing 15 or something.
Hey.
Fishing Fantasy.
I'm so. It certainly seems like fishing's the main event. I do still have some questions about it that like have been unanswered, but I'm very excited because it's coming out I think in September, so it's pretty soon. One, is this a DLC item for FF15 or is this standalone?
I wonder if it would come in the season pass.
Yeah, like that too. Like I wonder if that's included in the thing I bought. Two is like what's the breadth of gameplay styles and interactions? Because of course we saw the fishing and we saw some cracking open cold ones with the boys. But if if you remember, like, some of their old FF15 VR stuff they announced, like, way back, which might have totally been scrapped, they had some shooting sections with Prompto, and they even had, like, a little date scene. So I wonder if maybe this has a bit more breadth of content than we've seen thus far, and it's actually maybe a little bigger than we might think, or if some of that older stuff got cut. Either way, I'm excited for it, but I'm just curious. The mind races.
Showed it originally, before the logo for Creature of the Deep or whatever came up, they just showed Final Fantasy Universe. Is that what it is? Or is that just, like, the thing they're saying? Because, like, they're like Final Fantasy 15 Universe,
exactly?
and then...
Okay, so...
and then they showed the logo for that.
There's a thing called Final Fantasy 15 Universe, where it's a whole bunch of content they're still making for Final Fantasy 15 going forward. Like, they're adding a new update to add in off-road vehicles, episode Prompto and episode Ignis sometime in the future. Now you can watch all Brotherhood online for free without Crunchyroll, and a whole bunch of different things that they're expanding upon Final Fantasy 15, even though they didn't have to. So I think this might be part of the campaign, but not necessarily just Final Fantasy Universe by itself. A small story from last year. So I was at E3 last year, and then they were showing off some VR stuff. And what people were doing with Sydney during the VR section of that demo was the worst shit I've ever seen.
Because
I was staying out behind people, and people were just, like, trying to look down her skirt and look down her bra and stuff like that, or look under her, or try to get on top of her.
Yo,
and
why did
this
that
is
at
in the
E3?
live section at E3 where people watch you fucking look like a creep in public. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Gamers are the fucking worst.
Yeah, you gotta do that at home when the lights are off. Candles are lit.
I still want to play it. Like,
No, I'm fine. I'm totally fine with you doing that on your own.
Yeah,
But
I still want to see it.
Whatever you fucking do at home with Summer Lesson, Liam, that's totally on you. But when you're at a public setting at E3, when other people are watching, I don't have that kind of lack of restraint, I guess.
Yo, Summer Lesson's the bomb.
Summer Lesson was the most annoying one, because I kept having people telling me, like, why are you playing this super creep game? Why are you playing this? And it's like, I'm sitting here teaching a girl. That's it. I'm not looking up her skirt. I'm sitting here teaching a high school
Summer
girl.
Lesson is not even the creepiest thing ever, because it
no.
blocks off you from trying to do stuff, and you have to go out of your way to be.
Also, she reacts. She's not gonna just let you, like, move your head into her bosoms. She's like, yeah, and, like, I don't know. I played it and I was like, this isn't creepy. People just assume it is because you are wearing a VR headset and the most predominant thing on the screen is a female.
Is a high school girl. Yeah. I mean, I remember tutoring high school girls, and it wasn't so far off from that. You sit there in a room with them and you teach them stuff. That's it. Like, it's
randomly Harada comes out and says, "Good job."
No. Yeah. The discussion surrounding Summer Lesson was the most fucking toxic thing. It was absurd. It's like, just because there's a girl on screen doesn't mean everyone's gonna be lying on the ground looking up at her panties. Like, shit. But I guess we should just make games one way so we don't have to have that conversation, because people can't handle it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm totally on a tangent here, but I hope the Sydney thing stays in.
I think we'll have a problem when we start looking up the Moss rat characters' clothes.
Yeah, that game looked good.
Yeah, it looked really cute. I'm a fan of Redwall, so.
Yeah, same. I am that is.
Yep.
Yeah, I know someone who got their hands on it, and this was not shown in the trailer for that, but there's little touches and flourishes to that game. Like, you can hear the mouse's, like, little heartbeat, and you can reach your hand down and, like, pat their head. It just sounds so cute, and I want it.
Yeah, and, like, you control the ghost's, like, ghostly hand or whatever. You control that with the touchpad, and you control the mouse itself with the sticks and buttons, right? Is what it was?
I think so.
And like, there's actually, there's action combat as the mouse, like with her little sword and stuff. Like, it looks super fun. I'm super into it.
Okay, God of War. Looks alright.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a very good description of it, Thomas.
Yeah, I mean,
looks
there's going to be giant
right.
things that take up the whole screen, and you're going to have to deal with them, and you're also going to have to deal with your son. So I don't have anything else.
I'm very interested to play Son of Dad.
Okay.
Looks alright.
Yeah, it looks like a game. It sure is a video game.
Okay.
Yeah, that it is. That it is.
Maybe I'll be able to play this game on my PlayStation.
On my PlayStation 4, TM.
Greatness awaits.
Next up is David Cage's Detroit, as I would call it.
Oh, that was such a good fucking trailer. Oh.
You actually liked it?
I love
Oh,
that trailer, man. Okay,
okay.
listen. I
Trailer,
unironically
trailer
like
was all right.
David
I mean,
Cage games, except like I won't stick up for Omicron, or Indigo Prophecy, but I like Heavy Rain quite a bit. I think that Beyond Two Souls is really fucking dumb, but oh man, if Detroit doesn't look like it's gonna just be really stupid, cheesy terribleness, and that's what I want. That's what I want when I put in a David Cage game.
yeah.
Okay, I was about to say I thought that trailer looked like hot trash, but I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it because it looks like hot trash with friends and laugh at it.
You put in a David Cage for the same. You
That's
put in
a
a
good
David
idea.
Cage game because you want a B movie, you know?
Yeah. And the best part is he doesn't think he's making a B movie. Like, he thinks he's making this really challenging art, and it never is. Like,
It's almost like he's Tommy Wiseau, honestly.
Or Neil Breen.
yes, he is.
I'm excited for it.
I really hope this is the one. I liked Heavy Rain as well. I really hope this is the one. You know, they have new writers on board, which is unusual. Usually it's just David Cage. So I'm hoping that will influence it. And I gotta say, as much as his games do get a lot of flack, deservedly, I do like the style of games.
They look good.
Well, and besides they look good, like, nobody makes games like that. Like, Telltale is the closest, but Telltales are so much more aggressively railroaded. Like, I really like the high production value,
Oh yeah.
interactive movie kind of thing. And nobody else really does that. Like, the closest thing, I think, was Until Dawn.
There's so many
And
endings
again,
in it.
Telltale stuff is, like, close, but it's still not quite quite there.
Well, if I can go on a tangent with Telltale, I think it has this problem where once you play through it once, you realize there's a lot of holes here where, like, I was playing whatever the DLC after between the first game and the second game, the 50 days or whatever it was, 500.
Yeah.
So there's this part in that, without going into major spoilers, where you get a choice between attacking someone that's coming around the corner or not doing anything. If you don't do anything, you get killed and you die. If you do something, you end up killing someone who's a companion with you in a horrible way. And it was like, so none of these choices lead to anything good, and in both situations, the game blames me for making a bad decision. And I feel at least David Cage games, when you do something wrong in them, that arc ends and you get to move on to the next character.
And I also like in David Cage games how there's just a lot of decisions to make that you get to see the repercussions of, whereas in, like, Telltale stuff, it's all a lot. It's
like
all
all
a
paths
lot more.
lead to the same end.
It's more
I
or
will
less,
say, like,
and they just say
not
different
to go
things.
on and on. I played Heavy Rain at launch, and I actually really liked Heavy Rain when it came out. I was really blown away by it. I really loved it. A few years later, I got my girlfriend to play it, and me and her brother, we all watched her play it. She would purposefully fuck up the choices to see what changed, and what we discovered is very little mattered until, like, the last quarter of the game. Like, you can fail the whole sequence, like, in Heavy Rain, where you're going through that maze that has the electricity and stuff. You can fail that and it's fine. He won't die. You can, like, fail the entire car segment. He doesn't die. And so I feel like David Cage games have choices that matter, but they're always in, like, the last quarter of the game, from my experience. Even Beyond Two Souls.
Can't you get the girl killed, like, really easily, like, near the beginning of her stuff?
Yeah, she can die in a bunch of
Okay.
places. Yeah.
Like every character can die in that game. And because it's Ethan's story, he's going. I'm sorry, I won't go on a fucking Heavy Rain tangent.
Okay, I guess we can all agree that if you play these games more than once, a lot of holes open up where you realize, none of my things mattered as much as I thought they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Destiny 2, it looks okay.
Yeah, why
It's
not?
a game. That's my answer for a lot of these things.
I gotta
It's a game.
say, for me, I feel like Anthem stole a bit of its thunder.
Absolutely.
I kind of felt.
I
oppositely,
played, like.
but go on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I played like 30-40 hours of Destiny. I enjoyed it enough. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'll play Destiny 2. But now I'm kind of like, you know what? Maybe I'll just wait and try Anthem instead. Because I was, that's kind of where I'm at.
And until I see evidence that there's going to be a good story and characterization in Anthem, I'm gonna pass, because that's what I want from BioWare.
Well, it's a BioWare game, so pass.
Yeah. Dang.
Roasted.
I mean, it looks cool. Iron Man the game, but
Austin
fucking
will remember that.
scripted. Yeah, basically. But it doesn't matter because we're all dying in the end anyway, right? like a
Oh,
true
God.
Telltale game. I don't know. It seemed like a video game. We totally missed Anthem when we were talking about Microsoft earlier.
Yeah, we skimmed over Anthem pretty hard, but
For being the big reveal, I'm just like, it is looking like it's trying to step on Destiny's toes, but I'm going to take the company who's having a second attempt, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
that's fair. It's not like the first game was
Oh, no,
awful
no,
or
no.
anything either. Like it was the core gameplay was fun, so they only had
And
up
they
to
and
go.
they
Like,
improved
can
upon
only
it
go
with
from
later
here.
patches. It was just it took me 50 hours to realize, okay, I spent 50 hours getting to this raid. The raid wasn't that interesting, and now I'm done. And all I got out of it was loot. It was the most video game to remind me I'm playing a video game ever.
Yeah. Well, now I can play it on PC,
Yeah.
so I'm Gucci.
Yeah, and on Battle.net, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, everyone has it too. Thanks to Overwatch and Hearthstone. So.
You mean on Blizzard
Oh,
client?
of course,
Blizzard
my bad,
client.
my mistake.
Yeah. Oh, I hate that change.
Yeah.
I don't even use it at all ever. But I love the name Battle.net. It's so smart on so many levels.
Spider-Man. It looked fine. I wish it
Yeah.
was. I know for a fact that when a real game comes out, there's going to be little glitches here and there, and there's going to be a lot more loading screens. But it looked nice.
If there's one developer I trust, it's Insomniac.
Absolutely. Sunset Overdrive was so good.
Yeah. Even if they made Fuse, I still trust them.
Yeah, and even now everyone knows the backstory and the development of that, so they can't
Yeah.
really put them to blame for it.
Yeah. I forgot that existed.
Most people did.
Good.
No, it looks fine though, and I'm glad they decided to use Mr. Negative as a key villain as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because he looks really. Because for listeners, it's basically this guy who, in the panels he appears and uses his powers, his colors turn inverted in the comic, and it looks really cool. So it doesn't
that's
come
cool
as a
effect,
cool
yeah.
effect in a video game, but it's still pretty nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm excited to just see like some open world traversal and stuff.
And I've skipped on Batman completely after Arkham City, so I'm not fatigued on that gameplay style as much.
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah, and I fell off a night really.
the
hard,
developer
so-
already came out and said that the web physics are going to be similar to Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
All
via
right,
Twitter
all
and stuff
right.
like that, where like you have to be linked onto a surface, and
it's
stuff
not
like
just
that.
the web coming out of the middle of the air randomly.
Yeah, it's not that. And like again, they made Sunset Overdrive, which was like the only game to be more fun at traversal than Spider-Man 2
Yeah.
in a long time. So I'm like, all right, sure, let's go. If as long as I can just like swing around the city and beat up random people and I don't know, deliver pizza or something, that's all I want.
Yeah, I'm game.
Yeah, that's what I'm really curious about is like what is in
Exactly.
the open world in addition to the traversal, like, more than just the traversal itself. Because yeah, like there's stuff in there where it's just like, okay, well that's a mechanic from Sunset Overdrive, like the wall running and going around corners
Yeah.
and walls and stuff. It's like that's just Sunset. I mean that's great. That's good that it's just Sunset. But like I want to see what's going on in the open
Absolutely.
world. But I'm very excited for it. Yeah.
All right. I'd give them a 3 out of 5 as well in my book.
I'd give.
Lower than Microsoft. Was that lower than
Same.
Microsoft?
Same.
3 times?
They're pretty much the same for me.
I'd give them a 3 because the games looked pretty okay, but the presentation of them was kind of lackluster to me. So yeah, 3 for me.
And also, they had that big audio glitch at the beginning. If you watched it on Twitch,
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
played
Yeah.
for like the first 10 minutes.
I remember that.
My problem is, I think it's caught up with them that they can't show games that are 3 years off and just show trailers and then not deliver for the next 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now they actually have to show games that are coming out within a reasonable time period, and that's what we got now.
I still would have liked a new Death Stranding music video. Like, they're really good.
But the problem is now we have to
Um,
wait, and it might not pay out to be as good as we thought it was. So
Oh, it will. No. I don't know, I'm kind of at like a 3.5, 4. Like, I felt like they were pretty comparable to Ubisoft had like better peaks, but I think there were more games at Sony's conference that I actually wanted to play overall. But I do think a big part of that is like I really like VR. And so
Yeah.
that segment was really strong for me.
I agree 100% on that.
Because for me, it's like Spidey-Man, Shadow of the Colossus, Marvel Infinite, and the VR section. which includes stuff like FF15, Creatures of the Deep, and Moss, which both look really strong. Also Star Child, which we glossed over,
Oh, right.
but like that game looks cool too. Also by the guys who made Lucky Stick.
Oh, okay.
This is their second VR title. So there was a lot in there that I actually wanted to play. So I'm still feeling like 3.5, kind of 4.
I would inflate
But
a little bit to a...
Bearing in mind, I would score their last year's like a 5, you know? So
And the year before that, and the year
that's
before
where
that,
I'm
where
at.
they blew out Microsoft with all that stuff.
Yep, the Shenmue, yeah.
I think
And also saying we're good on game trading and all that stuff.
that was great.
Yeah. Probably a 4 for me as well, just because a lot of things did catch my eye, and there are a lot of things that they showed that are franchises I'm interested in or willing to give a chance in. A lot of it was Detroit, and I am actually one of the 6 people who's like, you know what, Days Gone could be pretty all right.
All right, good. Okay, final conference that isn't the PC gaming show or Devolver. Nintendo.
Nintendo blew it out. They just hit it out of the park.
I feel otherwise, but let's go note one by one.
Yep.
I don't agree with
no,
that. Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I wish they picked better scenes with better voice acting.
We'll show you. We'll show you what me and Pyro are made of. Take this!
But I gotta say, it's pretty awesome they're actually hitting
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah.
The one thing everyone was so certain about this game was, that's not fucking 2017, and they're doing it.
Apparently
so
started development around the same time X did.
Yes, I'm quite happy about that, and that's
And
that's
I
cool.
appreciate the art style change too.
Yeah,
That's the one thing I didn't like.
I think my favorite thing about Xenoblade is, and I don't know if this is on purpose or if this is just a lucky thing, but I really like how it changes aesthetic each time. So I do hope they'll continue changing the aesthetic up, because all 3 games look totally different from each other, you know?
I really didn't like X.
Really?
That's fair.
I
That's
played
totally
20
fair.
hours and then I realized I hated it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of multiplayer being a possibility, not guaranteed. Where you have to fucking join a server and then hope that no one else is taking the quest that you want to do, and then hope that you're in with your friends as well. No, sir. I wasn't really. I don't know. I feel like it looks.
I
really
didn't
weird.
love it either, actually. So
That was one of my favorite games that year.
I'll admit that
it's
it
great.
was super deep, and they even had this whole tutorial series where they told you you're going to die and how hard it was, and it was super deep, but at the same time, it just felt like I'm playing an offline MMO.
Yeah.
Sure.
For now, let's examine the advantages provided by the 3 map modes. This information may be too extensive for some Blade members, but those individuals will probably die penniless.
Okay, Kirby working title. I'm down for more Kirby.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love Kirby.
Kirby is like the cutest fucking character ever, and every time I see him on screen, I just want to smile.
Yeah, same here.
I'm down for more Kirby. It looks like more Kirby, you know?
I'm glad the merging copy abilities is back. That's really cool. I'm very happy about the co-op because to me that's the biggest promise of the Switch is like the constant co-op presence, I guess. You always have 2 controllers on hand, so I'm happy to see more titles that they're showing off that have persistent multiplayer throughout. But yeah, it looks kind of like a Kirby game. You know, Robobot kind of had
What was
some
the
more...
What was the Wii U title for Kirby that you drew on the stylus? What was that called?
Canvas
Rainbow Curse.
Yeah,
Kirby and the Rainbow
Curse.
Curse.
There was multiplayer in that too, and it seemed like everyone playing a non-controlling with stylus character looked like they were having more fun than the person playing Kirby. So I'm down for that.
Yeah. Otherwise, it looks good, but kind of didn't look any different from Triple Deluxe, barring the obvious fidelity increase. Like, there wasn't anything about the aesthetic that was really special as far as Kirby games go.
To me, it kind of looked like that one that came out on the Wii.
Return to Dreamland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Return to Dreamland.
I mean, I have with Kirby, I love the weird experimental Kirby games a lot. I love Rainbow Curse. I love Rainbow Curse, Canvas Curse. I liked Epic Yarn, but I have a mentality with Kirby generally that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this looks like more Return to Dreamland, but it's just prettier, and I am perfectly okay with that because I liked Return to Dreamland, and by proxy liked Kirby 64, and by proxy like Robobot and Triple Deluxe. I think those are good games, and I think a new one of those with 4-player co-op is going to be pretty good.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I mean, no question that they're good. But like, yeah, in the past 6 years, I've played Triple Deluxe and Return to Dreamland, and their aesthetic is more or less interchangeable. And here we're on the third title where the aesthetic is more or less interchangeable. Which I thought Robobot had some stuff going on aesthetically.
It really went weird places with the plot and the level design and everything in it.
So I'm just curious to see if it'll go anywhere more than, because right now what they've shown is basically the green selection that we get for 60% of Kirby games.
I always like Kirby games, and I always like playing them, but like they don't get me hyped, if that makes sense.
Sure.
I'm not like, oh fuck yeah, Kirby. Yeah. I'm like, oh, you know what? I should play the new Kirby game with some friends or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's always there for you.
Mm-hmm. It's right back at you. New Pokemon RPG. I think they just announced this just because they realized the fan feedback they got after the last Nintendo Direct. They had to address the fact that, we are making a Pokemon game. Don't worry.
Don't worry about it, guys. We got you.
Yeah. I mean, I think they probably knew. I don't think it was like a last minute thing. Like, I think they probably had this plan in the first place, but like this was the most nothing announcement of the entire conference, like as far as major announcements. What are you not going to make a Pokemon game on the Switch? Exactly. Like,
it's them slowly confirming the demise of the 3DS.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to look at it.
So that was the next one is Metroid Prime 4, and I guess we'll talk about that in a sec, but I just have something to say about announcing games that are just titles. I feel like there's better ways to do them and there's worse ways to do them. I feel like Death Stranding and Kingdom Hearts 3 are probably the best ways to do them, where it's like, this is the game, here's a snippet of footage, it's going to be a while. And then like I feel like the second best is like, this is the game, and here's the director, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the game. Don't have anything to show, but this is kind of what we're thinking.
1 million troops.
Yeah, but then you get this and Metroid Prime 4, which like one of them is literally nothing, just we are working on a Pokemon game. And then Metroid Prime 4, which is a title card. And Metroid Prime 4 has a little more value than the Pokemon one because it confirms that it's Prime and not another Metroid style. But nonetheless, it's like you wrote a name on the
Photoshop
screen
does not an E3 conference make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have loved if I guess let's just jump to Metroid Prime 4 if that's okay. I don't have any more thoughts for Pokemon RPG.
I don't think anyone has any thoughts for Pokemon RPG at this point.
I'm hyped. That's my thought.
But yeah, for Metroid Prime 4, like they were able to confirm that the director of Prime was still on and in a new studio, but I really wish they could have got the director on for a minute just to say like, hey, we're gonna follow up where the story left off with 3, and maybe we're gonna go towards, maybe it's gonna go to Silex's I don't fucking know what we're gonna do, but like, would have been nice if they could have said something a bit more.
I think it's we don't even know about, because it's not Retro Studios anymore. It's a new team.
We just know it's a new internal Nintendo team.
And apparently Retro is working on something new, but we don't know what it is yet.
Donkey Kong Tropical Cheese.
I'd be down.
Yeah, I just feel that it speaks about the reception, the feeling of Nintendo fans, where plus a lot of people were just totally fine with that title card, even though it was just title card. So they didn't have to try harder than they did.
Yeah, like the Pokemon RPG announcement, I think it made it to the front page of Reddit, which is no small feat. And the announcement was nothing. Like, did people the day before think that they weren't gonna make a Switch Pokemon game?
It's just like saying they said we're making a Halo 6, and they were expecting the same amount of fanfare. Everyone knows you're making a fucking Halo 6 in the same way everyone knows you're making a new Street Fighter, you're making a new any franchise.
I think the big deal with that was because they announced it as like a new mainline title, which has not been done on like something that Nintendo is considering a console. It's always been portable, so I guess it has merit in that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, Pokemon, cool, whatever.
I don't really agree with the notion that a lot of people are pushing that the Switch is a console and not a handheld. Like, come on,
it
it's
is both.
Like, it's new ground, and the notion that like, oh, this is the first time it's on a console is kind of silly, because it's like, this is a handheld as well. It's doing both.
It's the first time I can play.
In Japan, it's a handheld. Yeah. In North America, it's a console. Like, that's what the marketing wants you to feel. So
it's the first time that I can play legally a fucking Pokemon game on my television. That's not
including like the Genius Sonority titles and stuff. Yeah, I wish Genius Sonority could make another fucking Pokemon game. That'd be awesome.
Okay, so with Metroid Prime 4, because here's the problem, because next year they're obviously going to show some kind of like cinematic trailer, and then after that a gameplay trailer, but it just feels like I don't think it was enough for me just having the logo.
I mean,
these are. Go ahead.
Oh, that's the thing with Nintendo, though. I mean, I'm a big fan of the way Nintendo reveals a lot of its content, which is, here's the Direct, fuck E3, we're just gonna roll it out whenever we want to. And so we could see that Metroid Prime 4 next year. We could see it, like, we could see some very early footage this year. We don't know. And I think that's just part of the way Nintendo does things. And so I think rolling out a title card was a little bogus, but the fact that it's in development and the fact that Nintendo is probably not going to wait till E3 specifically to show us more, I think I'm more okay with it because of that. It's not a Sony situation for me.
But I mean, on the other hand, I feel like both the Pokemon RPG and Metroid Prime 4 are like firm 2019 titles with nothing to show.
Yep.
Like,
sure.
Even just walking a director out on the stage and having him say, "This is what the game's gonna be. This is it. Silex is coming back." Like, that'd be cool, but
I felt they would have been easier just at the very end of the thing having that logo pop up and then not saying now in development, just having some kind of weird little tease, so people were talking about it constantly until they announced something else for it instead of just having
like a talking Metroid who follows you around.
If anything, Nintendo's E3 conference made me a little scared for what they're going to have next year, because they are front-loading the hell out of it. And then what do we have after Mario?
We have Yoshi and Kirby.
I guess. I'm sorry.
Next year.
I feel very neutral towards those two franchises.
Those are two franchises I love a lot. So
yeah, totally.
They certainly have other titles coming. I don't doubt for a second that they have a bunch of other titles coming.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chart, and there's a new like big game coming out every month until the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we got Splatoon next month, and ARMS literally just came out. So
yeah, and then Mario Rabbids the month after, Fire Emblem Warriors the month after that. Like, no, it's stacked. And then Mario Odyssey, and then either November or December for Xenoblade. So it's stacked. Like, it's absolutely stacked. I mean, well, let's round it out, because there's still 4 more titles we've got on the list before we.
Okay, but before I skipped over it, but I just want to read to you guys Reggie's speech at the beginning, because it's the most nonsense bullshit I've ever heard.
And
he sounds like he sounds like a fucking robot. Okay, let me read this to you. The game is fun. The game is a battle. If it's not fun, why bother? If it's not a battle, where's the fun? It's a test that you pass, or a quest that you fail, or a race against time. Fun and battle always lock together, but the game is also something else. It's a journey, a passport to new worlds, maybe even an odyssey. A look, a feel, an exploration. Close your focus and open your mind. Yes, the journey requires the right ticket, and the right ticket is Nintendo Switch. But in the end...
Wait, was that a quote from The World Ends With You in there? Open your senses.
But in the end, it's not where you take your game, it's also where your game take you. So let's go. This sounds like a whole bunch of random shit popped out by a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess Animal Crossing series canceled. If it's not a battle, what's the point? It was kind of a nothing speech. It kind of hit me as one of those Nintendo speeches where they talk about.
Well, it's like the personification of that picture of Buscemi saying, "How do you do, fellow kids?"
Yeah, that's kind of Nintendo's thing for the past couple. I guess since the Wii U, where they're just always talking about how they're gameplay first, and it's like. Yeah, we get it. There's a lot of other games that aren't Nintendo that are also gameplay first, but keep saying
Well,
that.
because I feel like you can talk
Go
to
ahead.
Jack Trenton or Spencer and talk to them like the actual humans. Reggie, I feel he's so, like, he has to say certain things or Nintendo will punish him for it.
Yeah, you work at Pizza Hut enough, like, it does stuff. You know, like,
Maybe put his head in the oven a few too many times.
That's why he's so meat looking.
yeah.
So what we're hearing is that Reggie hates visual novels.
I
Yeah,
do
I
like
like him,
Reggie,
I love-
but
I love the
yeah,
man.
That
But he's more
that
of a
speech was
character
like-
than the other people that sound like actual people.
Sure.
yeah.
Actually, it's not Jack Trenton at Sony anymore. It's someone else, right? Whoever that guy with the hands is. I don't know his name, even though I just said he's more prolific.
The guy with the hands.
Sean
Yeah,
Layden.
you know, he makes his hands go around a lot. That's what he does.
It's Sean Layden.
Yeah.
Here though.
I like him though. Okay, Yoshi, same thing as Kirby. It looks nice.
I was a really big fan of Woolly World, and I feel like I was always worried that it was going to be one of those situations where Nintendo put out a weird little thing and we never got a sequel to it because it was just one of those one-off weird little Nintendo things. I am a sucker for anything cute. I am a sucker for Yoshi, and I'm really happy that they're evolving that series to me. Like, looking at that trailer, it was like, okay, we're not only getting a yarn aesthetic, we're getting a Paper Mario-esque aesthetic as well that looks like it's going to affect the platforming. I'm really excited about that. Like, I know a lot of people kind of glossed over it in that trailer or that conference, and I understand why. But as a big fan of Woolly World, seeing them kind of evolve that gameplay looks fun to me. And it looks like there's a new aiming mechanic in there too, and that's
Yeah,
really
because it's
exciting.
not just moving up and down. You can actually
Yeah.
point at stuff.
And that's exciting.
You know, it's funny because a friend and I were talking about it, and we really don't like platforming in
Yeah.
Yoshi games. Like that, the feel of Yoshi's jump, the flutter jump. That's like it's really his thing, and I feel like it's a bit of a love it or hate it thing. And me and my friend really
Okay.
don't like it. When we were watching this trailer, we came off of Woolly World like, because again we didn't really like the jumping, but this one actually really excited us because of the focus on 3D and less on the 2D jumping. And so, like, as someone who's kind of had a hard time playing 2D Yoshi games in the past, I think Topsy Turvy is the only one I finished. This one I thought looked really cool because it's like a bit more of a 3D platformer as well, and I'm down for that like radical change in Yoshi. This is like, is this not the first time there's been a 3D Yoshi platformer? The 64 one was not 3D,
no.
was it? It was a 2D game. So yeah, like I'm super down because this looks like genuinely new ground for
absolutely.
Yoshi. Unreal Engine 4, by the way,
Yeah.
putting in work. Yeah, looks really
I'm gonna
pretty.
say it's gonna feel real fucking weird to
I am
boot up a
excited.
Yoshi game and see Unreal.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh Yoshi, and then you beat up just fucking Unreal Engine. Let's go, bitch. You know.
I want Yoshi
Cliffy
to
B
say,
comes out.
I want Yoshi to say Unreal Engine when the logo pops up.
Unreal.
Okay, Fire Emblem Warriors. The one point I wanted to make about this game is I think they showed too many Lord characters off when there's always a whole bunch of other characters that have actual other weapons besides swords.
Yeah, well, you know, one interesting thing is they didn't announce any new characters at E3 at all.
Yeah,
like
all of them
zero.
were ones we knew about from magazines.
Yeah, so it's from Japanese game magazines. Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of surprising. Like, no new character announcements, huh? The game comes out September 28th in Japan, and Nintendo's been really good at global releases, so I imagine we'll get it right around then. But yeah, kind of surprising to not see a new character. You'd think that'd be kind of the
Kind of
highlight.
surprising
but,
to not see gameplay 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Well, they had gameplay afterwards, but you had to watch the treehouse for that. And it
Yeah,
looks
but
generic.
But I can't, like, they've shown Fire Emblem Warriors multiple times. The first time as like a Photoshop logo and like just cinematics, you know? Like, I don't know, like,
Also, very bad voice acting for that too.
yeah, I can deal with like, you know, 1 or 2, but 3 in a row, I'm like, okay, what's wrong with this game?
Yeah, I want to be excited. I'm a big Warriors fan, but looking at that character roster that has already basically been confirmed, I mean, I think they're focusing a lot on Fates and Awakening, and I have the very unpopular opinion that's when the franchise got really bad. So
No, you're not
nothing
alone. You're not alone.
Nothing
in that.
unpopular
yeah,
about
I
that
really
opinion.
like. I like Path of Radiance.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of Radiant Dawn be played. I love the GBA ones, and it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
this is the direction the series is going. I I'm significantly less enthused by it.
I too agree that Fire Emblem was better when it wasn't about waifus.
Thank you. Thank you.
See, I was all the way back. I was all the way back with Tharsia 776. Sorry, I pronounced that weird, but
Thracia.
Thracia, yeah, because I played that on an emulator with like a really bad fan translation, and that was my introduction to Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
And I feel.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same
'cause
page.
I feel
I
feel like an SMT fan, and seeing all the Persona fans come in, and that's all it is now is Persona.
I'm one of those too.
Yeah.
So more power to them, but at the same time, they're concentrating so much on the ones that made the money. And granted, it's deserved because Fire Emblem we did without Awakening, but at the same time, there's so much priority there that I feel fatigued from.
You had to kill it to keep it alive, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the developers did say in the Famitsu interview that they are focusing on Awakening Fates and the original and New Mystery of the Emblem, which is just part of the game. I believe they did say something to the effect of it's not just going to be lords, but like there's already too many fucking Awakening characters for my taste, honestly. There's only like 3 of them, and that's too many for me.
Liam, who do you want?
Straight up, I wish, just like Pokken Tournament, that it was jobbers and not just lords.
You want Kellum?
I would rather not. I want the characters who kind of like stand out a little bit. Like, you remember Hawkeye from Fire Emblem 7?
Yeah.
The one berserker to have a unique sprite because he's kind of special and kind of his own thing. Like Hawkeye would be really
Rolf
cool.
From Path of Radiance.
Like, I would really love for it to be more just interesting characters than, the Ike, Roy, Marth Power Hour, like...
And they're going to confirm them because they're the ones.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, they're going to be in there,
lucky when
sure.
We'll be lucky when we get Hector.
Yeah, right? Like, that's exactly it, I feel like I'm, like, counting my blessings by just picking which lords I like the most, but, like, ultimately I don't think there's any lord I like as much as a lot of the regular characters in the games. So, I felt the same way for Pokken Tournament, where like once it was confirmed that it wasn't just fighting Pokemon, I was like, okay, well, time for Pikachu all day, and there's like 2 Pikachus.
This game's got a little bit of a case of double fatigue with me right now. I used to love the Warriors games. I played so many of them, but now I can hardly stand them for more than 10 minutes.
Did you play Attack on?
Well, you should play
Attack on Titan at all?
Oh, sorry.
That was the most original one, and I played it for like an hour.
I put too much time in that game. That game was really good.
I'm like super interested.
Yeah, I
in,
finished it. Yeah.
Dragon Quest Heroes 2. It's got an open world and all this crazy shit, but at the same time, it's still a Warriors game, and like it won't go away now. It's stuck.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite excited for it because I liked Hyrule Warriors a lot. It was objectively the best Warriors game ever made. And
throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just.
We can have a 30-minute argument with that, but yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just doing that for you, Thomas. No, there's no argument. I'm just shit talking. But I'm excited for it. I am genuinely. I really liked Hyrule Warriors, and I have relative faith that it'll feel pretty similar. But yeah, the stuff they showed, like the gameplay afterwards was nice and it was good, looked good. But the stuff they showed specifically during the conference, which is what we're talking about, was like, yeah, it was nothing really. It was a little story trailer, which the original story of Warriors games is never that thrilling. Even in Hyrule Warriors, where they had license to kind of do what they would, it didn't come out all that interesting or anything. So, like, oh, there's a dragon, and our mom's.
I mean, it's also really hard to be excited for a new Warriors game, like from a narrative standpoint, and from Dynasty Warriors 9 is going to be entirely open world, and they're overhauling everything. So it's really hard to be excited for this because mechanically it's not going to be nearly as interesting as where that mainline series is going.
No, for sure. Nonetheless, I think it's cool.
Oh, totally.
I also am very excited to see some 3DS version footage because I gotta see that.
Oof.
I'm curious. I'm really
Every day
curious,
I have dreams about why Nintendo continues to make things on the 3DS.
Hey, dude, I'm playing through Fire Emblem Fates right now. Fire Emblem Echoes, pardon, not Fates. Fuck Fates.
I like that game.
I'm playing through Fire Emblem Echoes, and it's so fucking good.
Yeah, right?
Is there any reason that couldn't have been a Switch game?
No.
Okay.
I mean, there's no real reason, but dude, I'm having a fucking blast, and I'm just trying to fucking rush to finish it so that I can start Ever Oasis that comes out in 5 days on the 3DS, and then I'm gonna rush to finish that so I can play Concept on the.
There's a lot of good 3DS games.
Like
still.
I'm fucking, and then I'm gonna rush to finish Concept because Metroid's coming out on 3DS.
It's not an inherent like why is the 3DS getting games? It's like
Austin, I hate the 3DS too. I do.
I know, but it's like why not focus on your new system?
I wish the games were on both more than just on
that would be
one.
great.
Yeah.
That would be so good.
Like for Fire Emblem Warriors,
Frostbite too.
It's on both. That's pretty wishful, but like I wish Ever Oasis was on it. Like Fire Emblem, I get it. They're using the same framework they made for Awakening and Fates. I'm sure they're making a brand new framework for the Switch title. So I get that one, but like, I do wish Ever Oasis could have also been on Switch. I do wish that the new Metroid title, the 3DS one,
I
could
want the
also
new Layton
been on
game
Switch.
on Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I literally sold my 3DS not long ago because game like a place I traded into was doing like a 50% extra bonus on even consoles, so I got like $135 for it, and I was like, I'm literally not gonna play anything on this because like the resolution. It just hurts my eyes at this point. I can't deal with it.
But that new Metroid, though.
I remember, I know. I remember, I had a 3DS since launch, and I loved it. And then the day the Vita came out, I've always been a big handheld guy more than consoles. The day the Vita came out, I was like, oh boy, holy shit, hang on, I gotta look at this again. And I was, that was the day that I became really disappointed with the resolution, but the fucking first year of the 3DS was such a shit show, so it's not like it was a great experience.
Yeah, everything pre-3D Land was... Yeah.
That's why they had the Ambassador platform as an apology.
Sorry for buying our console.
I mean, there was the whole Ambassador thing, that $270 Canadian price tag was not cheap. No eShop until May of that year. The OS used to be way slower, it was not a good launch experience.
Any game except for I know Star Fox 64 3D is pretty good, but I remember the pre-Mario 3D Land days of the 3DS, and that was an ugly time. That was a real ugly time.
Yeah.
It was like the Wild West.
Okay.
I just said it was like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Rocket League, I think is going to make a lot of money, but that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
I hope there's a physical copy.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That'd be cool.
The fact that it is cross-platform... I'm sorry, I actually do have something to say about Rocket League.
Go ahead.
The fact that it is cross-platform means that I can... And that it's on the Switch means that I can have fucking LAN parties of Rocket League. I literally couldn't ask for anything else.
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah.
I can play with my friends who are at home and hey, we're at this con all together. You want to play Rocket League with us? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'm not big into it, but I was actually literally thinking of buying it just for cons and events and stuff. I'm very excited for Too Many Games because I'm going to bring my Switch and we're all going to play ARMS together.
I don't
right,
own
Austin?
It, but...
well, we're going to play ARMS together on my
let's play
Switch
it.
then.
We'll play it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, the Switch is great for those kinds of things. So, I'm kind of interested for that, and I'm happy they added local play as well, local wireless play.
And I mean, in 2 weeks after that, we're gonna play ARMS at AM Expo. So.
Yes, we are. Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna have to join y'all.
Yes.
And then Splatoon 2, like the Switch has got the best thing going on right now. What haven't we talked about on this list? Hold on.
Just Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
but
man.
I guess it needs a definitive single-player experience.
Yeah, throw Breath of the Wild
right
right in the trash. Mario Odyssey's coming.
Okay, did all of you,
fuck, man!
Did all of you freak out the implications? Well, everyone on the internet, obviously, but about Mario taking over things.
Is Mario a human?
No, Mario is Captain Ginyu now.
Have you seen the film? Get Out?
Oh.
Yeah. It's kind of like that, and that was a good movie. So this is going to be a good game.
That's solid logic.
Honestly, The game just looks like a fucking tour de force. I'm very jealous of my girlfriend. She was in New York City this past weekend, and she got to play Mario Odyssey at
nice.
Nintendo World, the store. And she said it was, and she's not a big Mario kind of guy.
For
and
you.
even she was like not sure if she wanted to get it, but she played it, and she said it was such a fucking.
Are
good
you sure she's
experience.
not being
Like, it was
controlled
just
by
so-
Mario right now?
That's a good question.
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
Did she like? Did you call her? Did
I'm
you
sure
call
I'll
her and she's
find
like,
out.
It's a me. I love the new Mario.
Wahoo.
Yeah, I'll find out pretty soon, I think, but I'm not sure yet. If there is some mind control going on, it's pretty sophisticated.
Liam, please wear a hat as soon as possible. Protect that head of yours.
And hey, it's
Yeah, it's
making
true.
it this year. Like, not long after Danganronpa 3. which is what
October.
matters to me. But yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Moo Mario.
No, really rounding out the Switch's lineup
Like it.
nicely this year. I gotta say, I'm kind of shocked at how good it is. The
Same here.
year
Yeah.
one lineup.
Like it
I'm
looks
still
strong.
skeptical about Xenoblade. Like, I feel like it's Nintendo. They might still be like, oh, sorry. We're going to push this back just a tiny bit. Like, there's still that, like, skepticism in me, but I think Mario's going to make it.
Honestly, like getting carts printed and stuff like that process takes 2 to 3 months, like printed
Yeah.
and shipped. So like it would take a bit for it to miss the 2017 window, but like the fact that they're not committed to either like to a month is still like I hope they make it. I think they will make it, but
But Mario Odyssey looks so good. I didn't like 3D, like Mario 3D World is one of my like top 10 all-time games. And this looks like they are blending open world, like Galaxy style 3D Mario with some choices informed by 3D World with a whole new mechanic that like has so much potential depth for the platforming. I have not been this excited for a video game in a very long time. I'm so cynical that it takes a lot for me to go, that game looks amazing, and that game looks incredible. Like, that was a standout at E3 for me. It might be the standout for me.
Did you see Nintendo throw
Yeah,
a decade and a half of Mario games into the water with, like, the timeline of, like, what this game's going to be?
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh yeah, this is going to fall in line with Mario 64 and Sunshine. Fuck Galaxy and World, I guess. This is this type of game.
yeah, I mean, I personally, I feel like it's more reflective of 64 and Sunshine's gameplay
same.
anyway, more than Galaxy. I don't think Galaxy is very open at all.
I
It's
can't play
pretty linear.
Galaxy. Confession, I can't play Galaxy. It gives me a headache.
Interesting.
That's fair. I love Galaxy. But,
I get a major like migraine. I can't. It's like VR for me. I can only play it for like 30 minutes before I have to sit down for a bit.
Huh.
But I don't know. I really like 64 and Sunshine. I'm really excited to go back to that. You know, the open worlds, the small open worlds and stuff. It just looks phenomenal. The capture mechanic looks great. There's so many smart things going on to make navigating the environments faster, like using capture on wires and stuff like that. It's just everything about the game seems really smart, really polished.
Shenanigans.
The demos we saw looked good. I like turning into 2D Mario
it's
on the
cool.
walls. I like the costumes.
Pauline
I like,
is the mayor.
there's
Like,
nothing-
That's what I care about.
Yeah, there's nothing about it that jumps out at me as like, oh, I wish this was a little more like this. Like right now, everything just looks like tip top. You know, it's even got a little co-op mechanic where one person can control
cool.
Cappy.
Okay, so at the ending,
So-
do you think he's going to take over Bowser, or he's going to take over something ginormous?
Oh, man, I don't know.
I kind of hope Bowser has the same power.
Me too. Be like the end of 3D World where he gets all the power-ups and you have to fight him.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Cappy's going to take control of Homer, and then we're going to see Super Mario Iliad next as the sequel.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I don't know. I couldn't call the ending, but the endings to Mario games ever since 3D Land have been like really bombastic.
Yeah.
So at least as far as 3D Mario titles go, New Super Mario Bros. 2 wasn't that thrilling, or New Super Mario Bros. U, but the 3D Marios have had really bombastic endings ever since then.
Yeah.
I think. Fuck no, actually, ever since Galaxy. Fuck me. Galaxy had the first real bombastic ending. I
Man,
think.
fucking
3D
Sunshine
Marios.
did too.
So, oh yeah, because it had the hot
Giant
tub thing,
hot tub
right?
in space.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Ah, fuck, that's true.
Mario's
I don't,
good.
you know, they've always been good.
Mario's good.
Yeah,
Mario's going to
hot-
take control of
hot,
time
hot
itself.
take here. Mario's pretty good.
Yeah.
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 Mario's going to learn how to use the world. That's what the fucking ending's going to be.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, before we give a score to Nintendo, who wants to take bets on when Metroid's going to come out? Let's pick a season, pick a year. I'm saying winter 2019.
I'm gonna be a wild card and say canceled.
Okay, you want to? I'll put out. You want to take a bet right now? I'm putting out $5.
$5. If this game
$5.
gets canceled, you give me $5.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 2020.
Oh yeah.
Dang.
What's any season in mind?
No, I feel like picking a season would be really difficult, but like because it might be the kind of thing where they're targeting winter 2019, but it might slip by a little and then end up hitting spring or something. You know,
Well, here's the smart thing you're supposed to do is pick Price Right rules and pick the month after mine. So say spring 2020.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to give you a genuine estimate, Thomas, not a shit-eating estimate. No. I feel like 2020, like if it's as presented, which is like now in development, Metroid Prime 4, like I don't feel like they're gonna be able to finish the game within 2 years if it's like within the first 6 months of development right now. Like I think it's probably gonna take a bit more time than that. It's you know, we don't know enough to say anything definitive. Like yeah, it could be a 2019 title totally, but I'm kind of feeling like it's gonna be a bit.
How do you feel, Elias?
I've come to not be able to predict when Nintendo games are going to come out because sometimes they're like, this thing's coming out in 3 months. This is going to come out in 2 years. I'm going to say late 2018, early 2019 would be my guesstimate. That would be my guesstimate. Yeah.
You think it's possible that they'd be done this game in just over 12 months?
They said it was now in development, but they didn't say how long it's been in development.
But bear in mind they had nothing to show.
That's true. That's a good point. Maybe mid to late 2019.
Also, a year of development is pretty much, I wouldn't want to show that off either.
Sure. Like, I would say, taking that into maybe, like, mid to late 2019.
I'm hoping 2019.
Yeah.
I would love for it to come out in 2019. The earlier the better. I mean, fuck, I'd love for it to come out next year too, but...
Yeah. That new 3DS Metroid looks pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice. I hope it genuinely turns out better than Mirror of Fate did.
Yeah.
Ooh, that game was bad.
That's like the one thing you got to be worried about. Same with actually Life is Strange, going back slightly because it's a different developer.
Yeah.
All right. Final score for Nintendo. 3.
Huh. I would go with the 4.5 just because I think Xenoblade Chronicles 2 looks too anime for me, but 4.5.
But the reason I gave it a 3 is because Mario Odyssey is the best thing there, but everything else was kind of like, for me.
Sure, okay.
One game does not get me excited for an entire conference, so I'm going to say a 1.5. Like, Mario Odyssey looks fucking amazing.
That's stark.
But that fucking conference was 25 minutes long of cutscenes and photoshops, and then Mario Odyssey, you know? So
I can see your point, yeah.
Sure.
So, like, as a conference, I didn't get excited for anything I wasn't already excited about.
For me, I'm feeling like a 3.5. I liked all the titles on display.
Especially due to the fact that they're titles and nothing else at the moment.
Let me take that back. I like the games that were on display. I think that the Pokemon RPG one, like, was the most. It was nothing. It was fucking nothing. It was like actually so nothing that I was actually like kind of like, why would you even do this? Like, you're just trying to fill out a 25 minutes here? Like, stop. This is nothing. It'd be like if they brought Aonuma out and he said we were working on a new Zelda on the Switch. Like, you said nothing. Metroid Prime 4 was exciting, if only to hear that it's Prime 4 specifically.
Yes.
And it's not Super Metroid 2. It's not, like, I would take any Metroid, don't get me wrong. I liked Federation Force, to be honest. But to hear that it is specifically Prime 4 was actually really, really nice. I wish it was more than just a title, but that specific confirmation did kind of eke it above the Pokemon one, which is not super high. But I think the thing I didn't like about their conference the most wasn't so much the Pokemon RPG thing, but it was their just absence of showing new titles. The only new titles they showed were Kirby and Yoshi, And they were kind of just like safe footage of the characters walking around for a few seconds, and then Kirby working title, Yoshi working title, you know.
This could have
So it was
easily
kinda
like just been the Wii.
They were kind of like
U
the most
games.
plain showings of those two characters. And then Rocket League was the only other quote unquote new title they showed. And you know, they have so many great third-party titles coming up. It would have been nice if they had like a little sizzle reel. It would have been nice if they could have talked about just maybe one more new title, because the only new titles, and like by new I mean like I'm not counting Rocket League because it's not new, the only new titles they were actually able to show were Kirby and Yoshi. And I was kind of like, you know, I wish there was just a third thing, even if it was just Smash 4, even if it was just Tokyo Mirage Sessions, even if it was just Bayonetta 2. Like, I would have really liked to see another tangible game coming out in the next, you know, like 8 months kind of timeline, you know. I feel like that was the big omission for me, because 1, 2, 3, so there was 9 announcements total. 1, 2, 3 of them were games we already know a lot about. 2 of them were titles. 1 of them was Rocket League, and then it was just Kirby and Yoshi that were like new and had footage. So I would have really liked just a third title that was exciting and had footage, or even just new and had footage, you know.
Sure.
Another game just as exciting as Kirby and Yoshi, but just having some footage of something new would have been nice.
I think we'll have to have another Nintendo Direct this fall to show off what's coming out next year.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
all
Yeah,
we
I
got is
mean,
this year.
You know, that is the fortunate thing about Nintendo, is they do have a fair amount of directs throughout the year. So, you know, we'll see new stuff. And, you know, even when they like focus on another thing, like during the ARMS Direct, they even had a bit of Splatoon. During the Pokemon Direct, they had Pokken and the Virtual Console releases and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. You know, they usually like hit a few titles at the same time. But I think for me, if I had to score it, I would score it probably like a 3.5, 4, kind of same as Sony and Ubisoft for me.
Okay.
And I really think Mario Odyssey and Metroid Prime 4's title were carrying a lot for me, bearing in mind how little I liked the title announcement for Metroid Prime 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mario Odyssey and that were carrying a lot. If the title cards for Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon RPG wouldn't have been there, this would have been a really dull conference, like besides the Mario Odyssey gameplay.
Sure.
So it's a bummer that the saving graces were nothing. They were just titles, you know. I think that's why I'm so like, I have such a hard time really acknowledging that I liked it, because it's like, but I'm just liking names they scribbled on a wall. You know, they could have put a notepad file up on the thing and written Metroid Prime 4. You know,
Granted, Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid.
It's the one thing. It's like one of the few things that get people really fucking excited, like a Half-Life 3 would.
Yeah.
There's nothing else
definitely.
that compares to that currently at the moment, I think.
As far as Nintendo could have announced, certainly not. Yeah. I mean, F-Zero I think would have been the only other thing that's comparable.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna do another Smash at some point, but you know it's expected. No one expected Metroid Prime 4 in any regard. So
Yeah,
And you know what? Metroid Prime wasn't even announced in the conference. Sorry, not Metroid Prime, the 2D one.
The 2D one, yeah.
yeah, but that's
and
because it was a
neither
3DS game.
The sushi one or anything. I don't know, man.
I think it's really clear they didn't want to touch 3DS games during the conference, because I think as much as, you know, their PR is like, no, we're going to support 3DS a lot, and I genuinely do believe they're going to support 3DS a lot and have titles through 2018 at least. I do think they kind of get that people, like, there's a very vocal group of people who are like, fucking stop. There is though, like, whether you agree or not with that stance, there are a lot of people feeling that way, and I think they wanted to keep that conversation away from their main showing.
Sure.
In the same way that Sony, before their conference, they showed off a collection of new games that are kind of like the Jackbox, and they use cell phones to be played, on a PS4. They look really good, just like Jackbox, but I think they wanted to keep smartphones out of their conference, because I don't think they wanted people to be like, oh, there's a cellular phone in my console games. Ugh, phone games. Ugh. I'm going to catch phone cooties.
I want to hear the person that talks like that in real life.
Phone cooties.
Phone cooties. Oh, mobages. Oh.
But yeah, I definitely feel like there was a lot of hype around the direct that was built around just titles. However, I mean, I'm coming in with the loaded. I'm a big Kirby Yoshi fan, so seeing more of those is great. I like Metroid, so knowing that one of those is coming out, two of those, even though that wasn't really in the conference. Mario Odyssey looks like one of those genre-defining sort of games potentially, and then the Zelda DLC looks great.
It does.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't in our list, and it does look fun.
Like
yeah.
I'm definitely a little biased towards Nintendo, obviously. But even being at E3 that whole week, nothing got me as excited there as that single conference did for that 25 minutes. And being in the thick of it, except for like some cool indie stuff I saw, didn't get me as excited as that 25-minute online video.
You know, I mean, the reality of Nintendo's first-party titles is, as far as I'm concerned, they are the most consistent home run hitters, you know, like...
Yeah.
I feel like, as far as their internal stuff, not stuff they work out with good feel and shit, like, their internal stuff is pretty consistent, like, 85-plus Metascore range. Not that Metascore is the all-defining, all-knowing thing, but like it's the stuff that everyone turns their heads towards. You know, I think ARMS came in just under that because the content was a bit lacking, and in all fairness, the content is a bit lacking. But like, look again, like a fucking great new game, Splatoon as well. Like,
yeah, absolutely,
fucking crushing it, and Mario Odyssey looks like it's gonna fucking crush it just as well as Breath of the Wild did, and you know. All their internal stuff it's always home runs. Like they're very good at that with their big projects. So I feel you in that regard.
Yeah.
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 All right. So we've been recording for 3 fucking hours, and I'm really scared about editing this. Okay, let's do extra stuff and then answer some of the questions.
All right.
We're already in the thick of it. God damn
shit!
it.
I wasn't recording. No, I'm just kidding. We gotta restart.
Get off the stage.
No, well, I remember. Were you there, Liam, when Pat and Wooly did that? Apparently, with 3 hours of footage.
For which video? Do you know?
It was a podcast, but they recorded like 3 hours of talking, and then all of it was gone.
Oh yeah, I think I was there for that because we had to
Goddamn.
redo the podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
I you know what? Actually, I do remember that because we started telling the same jokes.
Yeah.
But we all knew the jokes, and so like they were falling flat. But we were starting to make fun of how they were falling. Yeah, I do remember that. That was awful.
Sounds awful.
I think it turned out really well, but like the process sucked.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Extra stuff. What the fuck was the PC gaming show, Liam? Because I didn't bother watching it.
I was there.
You know, they get Day 9 out hosting, and he's a pretty good job. He does a pretty good job hosting. And they have this focus on getting the developers out to talk about their games, right? And I appreciate that goal. Like, let's get devs to talk about our games. It's about their games. It's so much more legit than just showing trailers. And you know, we're gonna do it honest. This is totally irrelevant of it being like a PC thing. This is just like their mentality of like this is gonna be so much more honest and straight from the mouth and no bullshit. You know, this is just what the game is, right? But in practice, I find it really dull. They have a hard time getting any really big announcements at their conference, which is kind of certainly one of the things I think they need to work on.
Yeah.
You know, some of their highlights were like the XCOM 2 DLC, Age of Empires remastered.
That cute game.
I think, yeah. And
that I don't remember the name of.
Not Trove, I forget. And there was Ooblets, and there was
Wartune looks real
some
good.
other cute Tunic.
Yeah.
But like the highlights are always really weak at their shows, like every year.
Yeah. I went last year and it was boring.
I think as much as like they like their format, their like discussion format, I think it's dull. You know, I genuinely think it's just really boring. They had a fair section on a mech tactics game whose name I forget, despite the fact that it's a long known franchise.
BattleTech, I think.
BattleTech, yes, thank you. And boy, it was just dull hearing the developers talk about the game for 5-6 minutes. Like, it wasn't exciting.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, while, you know, fake CG trailers kind of have an aspect of sucking, like, at the same time, there's something to be said of putting together, like, an entertaining show. And personally, I feel like there's nothing worse than their scripted interviews. There's no value to those scripted interviews. There's no value. You ask these questions that they already know you're going to ask ahead of time, and they have their PR'd out response, and they don't tell you anything particularly interesting. Like, the goal of that presentation, of getting that, honest, straight from the developer's mouth kind of thing, kind of falls flat when, like, they know what the questions are going to be, and it's all just PR'd out anyway, so it was very dull, straight up. It is every year very boring. I pretty much just watch it for the VR games, and there was even less of that this year than last year, so it was really boring to me.
Okay, yeah, Elias, tell us about your experience.
So, I don't know.
I say in a talk show kind of fashion.
Yeah,
that was all forced.
So, my experience is that I don't know if they broadcasted the Intel preamble part of it, but
they did.
Okay,
they did.
That guy talking about Linkin Park and being like the world's biggest Linkin Park fan, that was terrible. So all of the
I'm the world's biggest Linkin Park fan. What the
I'm
fuck?
gonna have to fight you for that title, buddy. But no. So the opening bit with Intel was terrible, and then they just started rolling out all these look at our new products that you're never going to realistically need for any PC game that's out right now. But the conference itself, I personally kind of liked bringing developers out and having them do a little talk, and I like the interview format because I like slowed down things like that because it helps me get a little insight into what the developers are trying to do more than a pre-cut trailer does. And I love spectacle and bombast. I really do. But I think in an industry that sort of thrives on that bombast, I like the format of the PC gaming show. Now, was it a little overlong? Absolutely. And was the constant reminder that Intel was a brand that existed terrible? Yes. But I think so seeing Tunic was cool, but then there's that one bit near the climax of it where they showed that War Tune game, and it had the two developers come out and make a map of their game on stage. And
that was one of the highlights. Yeah,
I really liked that. I really thought that was an authentic way to show off that mechanic. And the BattleTech dudes, I do agree, were kind of boring. I'm going to give you that one.
They were really genuine, but they were boring.
They were dull.
Yeah.
I liked the games they showed off. I think in terms of raw, like what's a word I can come up with? Gameage. Raw gameage. Raw gameage. I think that the PC gaming show reminded me why I like playing on the PC, because there was such a wealth of diverse titles. I just think the way the whole conference was assembled, I think the concept behind it is good. I thought the games were good. The way it was all assembled and paced was very bad. And being there in person, my editors all wanted to leave early. Like, they were all pushing to leave early so we could just bail. And hilariously enough, we had to keep our trash talking down about some of the worst aspects because the planners for the entire event were sitting in the row right in front of us. So I made like a joke, and then one of my coworkers nudged me and was like, dude, you have to keep your voice down. Those people organized all of this. And honestly, the most embarrassing moment of my life so far. But yeah, I like what they showed off. I like the format of the interviews. I just think that it needs some work, and I think that it needs some trimming. Personally.
You got a free shirt, though, didn't you? That says Nerd to the Core?
I left that shirt on a trash can at the EA Play event. Where it belongs.
Sounds like the right place for it.
I think overlong is a good way of putting it. It's an hour long, and I don't feel like there's an hour of content in there. I totally forgot about the bit halfway through the show, not just the pre-show, but halfway through the show where the Intel guy carted himself out to talk about how Intel enables the most experiences and
VR esports.
$1 million prize pool. Wow, $1 million, and he like does a little audience call for people to cheer. And I don't know if you got this on your end, but Dana would occasionally push it over to another announcer, and she would tell us about this contest that they were holding where you could win this $1,000 gaming PC or this $1,500 gaming PC.
I saw all of that.
And like I'm just like like that's the kind of stuff that I feel like it's like death by 1,000 cuts more than anything else. You know? Like
it's almost kind of embarrassing.
It's just not up to the standard of the other companies at all. And I mean, that's the trouble, right? Like, it's hosted by PC Gamer, and that should be enough. But it's always got a big sponsor, and I assume it always needs that big sponsor for the in order to afford the space.
You gotta pay day 9, dude.
But they had AMD for the past few years. They had Intel this year, and like the Intel slot was dreadful. Like, I think it was dreadful, the Intel.
Oh, absolutely. It was horrible.
He came on and told us why we needed an i9 so much. And then the PC that they were giving away in the contest was an i7.
Yeah.
So it was also just like, all right, well, you can't even sponsor the show enough to give him a fucking i9 to give away. I guess you can't even afford that, but even they can't afford an i9. That's it. Like, there was bits where I looked up and I was like, damn, like Ooblets looks fucking good.
Ooblets looks incredible.
Ooblets looks so good every time I see it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you just say ooblets like 5 more times? Is a very cute word.
Ooblets. Thanks for that opportunity, Thomas Strong. Yeah, like the boring bits, I felt like doubled over the exciting bits. And like there's some bits that I think are like quadruple boring, where like they card out a developer. The Microsoft developers, I think, were the ones of specific mention here. So for Forza and for Sea of Thieves, where they brought up those two games. And they had the dev on stage, and they threw him the lowest like softball questions of, you know, like, what are you guys going to do on PC? And all they said was like, yeah, you know, we're going to support arbitrary resolutions and uncapped frame rates. And it's like, those should be givens. I don't, you know, like, it's boring to have people come on and tell me about the things that should be givens. You know, that's like if on the Sony conference or Microsoft conference, they carted out a Ubisoft guy for Assassin's Creed, and then they asked him, so how are you going to use the Xbox? And he said, we're going to support the Xbox One controller. You know, it's like, I know those aren't givens in every PC game, and that's a problem. But I don't think they make for exciting announcements from my perspective at all, because it's just like, oh, you're supporting the thing you should be supporting anyway. Like, congrats, you know?
Yeah, I feel it.
But yeah, I mean, I totally get you. I think the ambition of the conference is really admirable, and I hope that one year they can land it and make me feel like I had a fun time watching it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I was really excited to play everything they showed. Like, after I thought back on it, I was like, wow, all that stuff looked pretty good. But then in the moment, I was like, okay, there's gotta be a better way to show me all of this. You could even involve the developers and do that format and do it in a way that was not so monotonous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think Wargroove was actually one of the games that really did it well, because they were talking over gameplay of their game. That was one of the things I noticed that for a lot of games they didn't do. They would show a trailer and then talk. Yeah. Like for XCOM 2 that opened up the show, they showed the trailer and then they talked. Wargroove, they talked over gameplay. Mech Assault, they talked over gameplay. But a bunch of them were like, here's the trailer, and now we talk. And that was what made it so boring.
Absolutely.
I think, was like, you can't even show us gameplay. You're just gonna, you know, have that boring shot of Day 9 and whoever's on the stage with him, you know. I hope they can do better, and I hope one year they don't have to have a sponsor who's as incredibly intrusive as AMD or Intel, because those have always been the lowlights of the show in the past years.
If I can talk about like getting sponsors for a second, that's why I like getting like weird non-gamer related sponsors like Doritos and Mountain Dew, because at least you're kind of in on a joke. Okay, this is weird sponsorship stuff, than having just, we need to tell you about our products related to gaming constantly every 5 minutes, otherwise you might forget or something.
Yeah.
No, for real. Like, seriously, if Day 9 had to say, don't forget to do the do after every game,
I'd love
it.
that.
It would have been, yeah, no, seriously. I would love that. It would be great. It would have been funny. It would have been upbeat. Everyone would have elbowed each other in the gut and said, hey, that's kind of goofy. But it would be way better than having a guy come on talking about the i9 and talking about how Intel enables the most PC, who gives a fuck, $1 million prize pool. Like, it was so boring, his bit. And like I totally agree with you, Thomas. The Doritos Mountain Dew sponsorship is, I think it has looped around to being a great one because it's there's an entertainment value there.
Because people give Jeff Keighley shit for it, but I mean that's gamers like Mountain Dew and Doritos, and at least they're not like doing some underhanded like supporting of a certain game console or a certain game.
Yeah.
This entire time.
Like it was found that some of the stuff that AMD said in previous years was like actually untrue, and like Nvidia and like they were saying things that were implying Nvidia cards weren't as good in certain areas, which was totally like false. But what's Mountain Dew gonna come out and say? Like that Coca-Cola product's worse? Or wait, are they Coca-Cola? That PepsiCo product's worse? I don't know. Like
That's not wrong.
Mountain Dew cool PCs.
Oh no.
Fucking yeah.
Mountain Dew PCs.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Oh no.
All right. Did you want to talk about Devolver at all? I think that was very entertaining.
Yeah, Devolver was they had an event.
Yeah.
And they didn't talk much about it going in. They just said hold my beer. And it ended up being more of a comedy thing, more of a spit take than like an actual press conference. They only showed off 2 games, neither of which was a new title. They said there would be no new titles ahead of time. And it was quite funny. Not every joke landed, probably like a 70-80% success rate, but it was quite funny. I think it's really hard to grade it alongside the rest because like it wasn't game focused, but it was very entertaining.
Yeah, my editor-in-chief and one of our writers went to the Bethesda press conference and then went to the after party, right? So me and then 2 of our other writers were left at the house. We couldn't get passes to Bethesda for varying stupid reasons. We just got really, 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 really drunk, and we decided we were going to watch the Devolver thing because we thought, well, shit, I love Devolver. I love the games they put out. We were told nothing about it. I knew nothing about it. And let me tell you, when you were loaded, that was a sight to behold. Like that, that was like when she started bleeding from her face, all of us just cracked up. And like, I barely remember a lot of it because of how drunk I was, but that kind of made it better because we were just rolling around, and then 2 of our writers came home and said, man, that Bethesda thing was a letdown, the party wasn't even fun, and all of us had just been rolling around the floor laughing at how absolutely batshit Devolver was. I mean...
Did you guys watch the Twitch pre-show afterwards?
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of it.
With like the wrestling and
that was the fucking best. That was the best.
Man, that was rad.
They were playing Kamen Rider on Amazon Music and also playing episodes of Ninja Slayer over and over.
Dude, they were just doing everything. I think I watched 3.5 hours of it. It was so good.
Yeah, same here. That's same here. Like, we didn't really, because we were so loaded and toasted, we had we didn't know that it was like the show was over, so we just kept watching and watching and watching. We were like, "Oh shit, this is never gonna end. This is the best."
I also didn't initially realize it wasn't Devolver and it had like moved over, but it was still fucking
good. It was
good.
Great. Like that thing was nuts, and then like it was funny seeing that one supercut of the lady just saying the future over and over again. Just reminded me of like the whole week. I was like, oh, this is just taking the piss out of literally every press conference ever. So it was really hard to take everything else seriously because of that.
It reminded me a lot of Alan Resnick kind of sketch thing, like this house has too many people in it, or unedited footage of Bear and stuff like that. Because you're going into it knowing that it's going to be something weird, but it's such a commentary on the state of E3 and just everything that happens with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's kind of why I feel like it's hard to grade it alongside the rest, because like it's doing a different thing.
Yeah,
because it's totally doing a
perfect.
different thing.
Because it's perfect.
I hope they do it again next year, but better somehow.
Get Jim Sterling involved. Jim Sterling said he wanted to be involved. Get him in on that.
It'd be cool if they could keep doing it, because it reminded me of Paxomania a little bit.
Yeah.
In that it's kind of like a bit of a meta, like core gaming audience thing where everyone kind of is in on the joke a little bit.
Yeah.
You know. So it kind of reminded me of that in a positive way, and I'm keen to see whether Devolver and Twitch will be able to continue making that.
Here's hoping.
Making fun of
It was
gamers.
very fun.
Okay. At last, we have some questions. Did you guys want to do questions?
We can.
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm about to beat this game, so sure.
What game are you playing?
PK Out of the Shadows for the PS2.
All right. Get ready to see that on Arcadia, listeners. Okay.
It's world exclusive.
We kind of went through this at the beginning, but T-Soul22 asks, do you think opening E3 to the public affected the quality of the production, conference, and show floor? And I'd say very much yes.
I don't think it affected the conferences.
Oh, and not the conferences, sorry. Definitely the show floor.
Yeah, I think the show floor itself. I was watching the Giant Bomb night streams. I haven't watched all of them yet, but there was one where they were talking about that the layout of the floor was very similar to previous years, and the show floor was fine from my experience. I had a lot of fun, but cramming such a poorly managed I don't know, line flow. That's not even a real term, but I'm using it. Where you were supposed to be standing for lines, where the traffic was supposed to be directed, was very, very, very unclear. And I think that the show floor itself was fine, but it wasn't ready for that amount of people. I don't think that they didn't find a good way to mitigate and space out foot traffic, and that was the big problem. But the quality of everything was still great, in my opinion. It's just there are too many fucking people.
You'll notice this when we get to Anime Expo, but they always stick all the big important Funimation and Crunchyroll booths at front, and it just blocks off traffic. And I don't think they learned their lesson. Maybe they'll change this year.
Here's hoping.
It's certainly, obviously I wasn't there, but it certainly seems to me like they either sold too many tickets or need to book a little bit more of that building next year.
What's interesting is if you listen to actually Giant Bomb's E3 stuff from last year, they're like, nobody's here. There's an entire section of the floor that is just empty space, and you can just record a podcast comfortably on the floor of E3.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
And now it's hell.
It was a bit too much, and I do really think they need to take some lessons and have fucking press-only days.
Absolutely.
I can't believe they didn't have them in the first place. I remember people ahead of time, before this E3, saying, man, why don't they have press-only days? Because that's how Gamescom and TGS fucking thrive, because the press are able to just blitz it on the first 2 days.
And then they don't even have to show up on the other days to compete with all the general public.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's three open days for people, and I hope that in the future they're able to do that.
They need to.
I really, really do.
I wish I could just easily call them as being slightly incompetent because it was the first year, but no, they've been doing this for a long ass time. There's been examples of this
working elsewhere and at other conferences at that expo center. So
yeah, no, it's a shame. It's just a shame.
So you think they're going to make it open to the public next year as well?
I think they probably will.
Who knows?
But I don't know if they do. They need to fix some things. But I think this probably brought in a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
I'm hoping that they can see that it's a big enough business venture that it's worth the extra expenses to make it more comfortable for everyone. I heard there was also an extreme lack of security, no bag checks at the door and stuff.
Yeah, that was concerning. There was a fire there, and that was scary.
Yeah, that's not, for anyone who doesn't know, at most big conferences, they do have bag checks and stuff, in the States, because,
bad stuff happens.
There's guns all over, and bad stuff happens and shit, if there have been threats at certain conventions, too. I believe San Diego Comic-Con had a shooting threat at one point.
We almost had a shooting at a Pokemon convention before people caught wind of it.
But it's unusual to not have that, and even at PSX, which was a much smaller event, they have bag checks every year. So I heard there was a concerning lack of security in general, not just at the front doors, but just it felt like there weren't security people anywhere.
There were just people in suits who were elderly checking your badge, and some of them were only half looking, and some people just sidled into the door without getting anything checked. And I mean, honestly, I'm not one to immediately assume worst case scenario, but I just thought the amount of density in some of these show floors, plus someone who smuggled a weapon in, is a horrifying prospect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's pretty much the general consensus I've heard of my friends who also went to E3. It was well, E3 sucks.
So, were you able to play much stuff that was high profile without getting an appointment, Elias?
That's a good joke.
I take that as a yes.
No, I wasn't.
I warned you ahead
Yeah,
of time,
and
basically, because last year I couldn't play anything.
Yeah, and thankfully,
That wasn't
thankfully, I already booked some things, and there were some instances like I was able to go to Sega's. Actually, no, that doesn't count. Because I was gonna say I was able to go to Sega's press desk and just slide in, but I still had to go to the press desk. If I had to wait in line, I would have had to wait to play Sonic Forces like an hour and a half. Like that would have been. Because my friend, my buddy Patrick over at Sega Bits, he didn't get a press pass. He got a general access pass. And he probably got to play. He was there for 2 days. He got to play like 3 or 4 games.
And imagine paying $250 for that. It sounds like the. But some people are totally fine with that because at PAX, some people wait 6 hours to play the new Assassin's Creed, and they're totally fine with that. But I don't get it.
Good for them.
It's a lot of money.
I remember at PSX, me and my girlfriend waited, I want to say 2 hours to play Farpoint. It was worth it, but like the tickets were only like what, $100 at PSX? Like it's not even comparable. So
yeah, so like,
and 2 hours isn't that long as waiting, from what I've heard for some people. Like
it's not that bad
6 hours to play Odyssey when it comes out in 4 months.
Yeah, that's rough for sure. Well, my girlfriend was able to go to Nintendo World and play it. She had like a 20-minute wait or something like that.
I tried to play Final Fantasy 15 multiple times at PAX, but they had the thing where it was like you show up and then you get a ticket for an appointment.
Yeah,
and I got there like 30 minutes early. Wasn't enough, by the way. And 15 minutes after the floor opened, they were out. Like, and I got there.
I remember that
16 minutes after. So I'm like, this is fucking bullshit.
I remember that happened with RE7 at PSX this year, where it was like, I think this was the first public hands-on for RE7, and it was in VR as well, and the tickets were just gone instantly.
Oh, like we got to do that at E3, so that we got to skip a whole bunch of people, and that was pretty fun. Funny little side story about Jim Sterling. We were going to go play Duke Nukem Forever, and he got to skip a 4-hour line, and as he was going in to play the demo, he just turned to the people waiting and just started doing his middle finger back and forth. Granted, that game didn't turn out so well, but I think it was a pretty funny moment.
Yeah, that's the best thing to come out of that game. No.
I guess it's a pretty general question. What were the new standard IPs from you? This one's from Not Through Zod.
New IPs?
I can't think of really. Maybe Skull and Bones.
Oh, I mean Anthem.
Yeah, Anthem. Obviously,
it certainly seems standout. I hope it turns out great. Honestly, because it looks really cool. I think Anthem was the real standout.
A Way Out. Yeah.
Yeah, Way Out looks great.
A Way Out was really cool as well.
New IPs.
Some of the VR games were nice as well, like Moss. Moss looks really good. But it was a bit of a slower year for that. I liked Ubisoft's space game, whose name I forget all of a sudden. I'm going back up for it. Starlink, yeah. Also, actually, it is not in the list, but Ubisoft's VR title was also very cool as well. Their horror VR title that they announced with Elijah Wood and stuff.
Oh yeah, right. I wrote a story about that. Fuck, I forgot.
That's okay. I think there was a fair amount of neat ones, but I think that's pretty much the selection for me. It was a bit of a drier year for big new IP. I think Anthem was clearly the big new IP. It's very telling that like A Way Out and Starlink are the other ones we're going to.
Could we consider Spider-Man?
And, like Skull and Bones and shit.
Transference is their project.
Yeah, Transference is what it's called. Yeah, but it's very telling because it seems like Anthem's really the only big new IP.
Absolutely.
Bunch of smaller but still big new IPs like Starlink and A Way Out and Skull and Bones, but like Anthem was the only big one. And in the past few years, we've actually been really lucky with getting new ones. So, yeah, this was a little dry in that regard for me. But
you already answered this on Twitter, Liam. But Bames asks, "What do you think the control scheme of Metroid Prime 4 will be, and where in the timeline would you like to see it take place?"
I still want to drop my answer after you guys get your answers out.
I don't care.
If I know Nintendo, it's gonna have multiple control schemes, including one with the Joy-Cons. The actual Switch or Pro controllers having slight motion control, like aim assistant, like in Splatoon.
I would like that a lot. That's kind of my That's kind of my dream,
Yeah.
like, control scheme. I would really like to be able to, like, just, like, hold the two Joy-Cons individually. And, like, I know that the stuff that's in the Joy-Cons is not the same as the stuff that was in the Wii, but I would just love to be able to play Metroid Prime 4 like I could Metroid Prime 3. And by proxy, that trilogy. As far as the timeline, whatever timeline does not have disposable characters that exist only to die, like in Metroid Prime 3.
For me, for the controls, the question is, what do you think? But I'm gonna go with, what do I hope? So I hope it has the whole selection, because Nintendo's generally pretty good at that. So I hope that for when you're playing it with more of a control pad style, that is to say, either with the Pro Controller or with two Joy-Cons docked or what have you, I hope it has both twin stick, like more of a modern first-person shooter, but also the traditional Metroid Prime lock-on and strafe kind of system. I hope it supports both of those, and I do hope that gyro aiming is an option for both of those as well. Games like, again, like Splatoon and Killzone Mercenary and stuff have used that to great effect. I also hope that, you can use both Joy-Cons and play it just like Corruption or the Prime trilogy, because the technology's there. It's like in Skyward Sword or Pikmin 3, Nintendo didn't actually use the pointer in the Wii Remote, but the gyro in the Wii Remote totally supported that same pointer-like system, and the Joy-Con technology works exactly like that. If you've played World of Goo or any of the Tomorrow Corporation's games on the Switch, you can see that, like, doing a quote-unquote pointer, as in like a fake pointer via the Joy-Con's gyro, is 100% doable. It's so I am hoping it supports all three of those options. And if there is a Metroid Prime 2 Echoes style multiplayer mode, I hope it supports single Joy-Con split screens so you can play with a friend.
That'd be cool.
That would have to use the lock-on style, because you only have one stick. But I would be down for compromised controls in a local multiplayer Metroid Prime shooter. And in the timeline, I hope it takes place after Federation Force.
All right.
I do. It's the latest step in the story.
True.
And it
True.
counts. Like, I'm sorry, it does count. Yeah. And I hope Silex is in the game.
Yeah.
All right. At Rogue M Clone says, what announcement trailers shown outside of conferences should have been made in them? What announcements would you exchange? I don't think any of that would be exchanged, but I would have preferred seeing Undertale and Super Hot within Sony's thing. I think that
I would have loved to see the Metroid Samus Returns, aka the reason AM2R was canceled. I would have loved to see that in the press conference.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was only Switch only, so they had to keep it out.
Yeah, true.
I think there's
actually one more. Senran Kagura, get down the main stage.
I think Undertale would have been nice. Undertale would have been real nice, because it's a pretty imposing indie game. I know they go for the bombast on Sony's stage, but I really feel like Undertale's pretty well known and would have still fit in relatively well, or at least it would have turned heads because it looked different. Undertale would have been nice. I don't know if I would have wanted to trade anything out for it, but Undertale would have been nice. And then the other one for me is actually on Microsoft's part. And it was that just before E3, they announced that there was going to be a definitive edition of ReCore that came with, like, new DLC and stuff. And that's, like, a cool exclusive that they actually have. So I was surprised that they didn't mention it at all during their E3 presser. Considering, like, it's not, like, it is, like, a definitive edition box, but, like, there is a big new DLC that comes with it that, like, unlocks, like, a fifth of the map and stuff like that. It's pretty big.
They were basically missing one robot out of the entire game, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. It was like the most important robot too, the one that you could ride around and stuff like a vehicle.
I was very surprised we didn't see Fortnite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Have you played it yet? You know, it's just out, right? You just
it's not out. You can pre-order a Founders Pack that unlocks next month.
We're all getting in on that, right, for PC?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
I've been waiting for fucking Fortnite since they announced it like 9 years ago. Or whatever, and they were like, oh yeah, this is going to be the first Unreal Engine 4 game. And I was like, sweet, Unreal Engine 4, this looks beautiful. And then it's just, where did it go?
Yeah. It's.
I'm surprised we didn't see it at Microsoft conference of all of them, you know? Like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tweet It Not says, rabbits, yea or nay. I am pro rabbits because they annoy people, and that makes me happy in the same way Minions does.
I'm pro rabbit. To be honest, I always liked the rabbits. Like, I remember buying Raving Rabbids when the Wii came out, and I was like, yeah, this is they're cute, they're fun characters. Like, the game wasn't tremendous, but like as characters, like they were really fun. And like I know a lot of people compare them to the Minions.
They're
now,
way
but,
better
like,
than Minions.
I don't know. I kind of always liked them, and yeah, I do like them more than the Minions.
They're
as
cute,
well.
man. They're cute and they're very
the,
French.
the CG cartoons are cute as well. So
Like their animation quality is top notch on that stuff, so I'm really happy to see that translate into Mario and Rabbids.
I could
The
see why
animation looks.
people,
I'd say the animation looks better than normal Mario games in
I
some
could-
areas.
yeah.
I could see why
In
people
some
were
regards.
like, "Wow, why are they doing Mario Rabbids?" I can see some people being upset about that, or like, "Why?" But at the same time, I've never been offended by them now. Like, whatever. They exist as a thing.
I know a lot of people don't like them though, and that always mystifies me. But hey,
People just want to be mad, bro.
LaFrick89 asks, "Where do you guys think each console's niche lies right now?" Niche, Nick, Knack.
I don't think that any of them have a niche right now. I think that the gaming industry is doing better than it ever has. I think like Sony and Nintendo, obviously, like units are flying off the shelves for both of them. And Microsoft, it's much more North America focused, but they're also selling really well now. I don't think that any of them are niche.
I believe they used to have one when it used to be about TV and experiences, but they moved past that. So
Yeah,
since then.
I guess if you interpret this to be like what are their like niche fortes, I mean, I guess Nintendo's first party and Sony's Japanese support, and Microsoft's got early access games and the most powerful the power of X.
Yeah, I think I misinterpreted the question for a second there because I was like,
the question is, yeah, where do you guys think each console's niche lies?
like
right
I
now?
think everyone, each game has its own, I mean, Nintendo games are like literally just niche for Nintendo fans, Like if you
guess so,
want
yeah.
the big first person shooters and all the big multiplats, don't get a Switch. If you want like all the big, big budget super games that are multi-platform or some of them exclusive, you get the PlayStation 4, and I don't know who the Xbox One X is for.
I feel like the Xbox One X is for people who want Halo and Gears and Forza and stuff, just Microsoft's big first party
Yeah,
shit.
I guess that's true, yeah.
I think I may have misinterpreted the question initially, so. But hey, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I apologize.
Sorry,
I take it all
Alfred.
back,
How
little frick 89.
fucking dare you?
I like that name a lot. Okay, Anna Massey Online asks, "Do you think any of these reveals will be canceled in the following months?" I thought Metal Gear Survive would, but apparently it's just been delayed.
I feel like that game might get canceled. I like a lot of the initial stuff from people who have played it has been. I don't have a census for this, but seemingly universally negative. I would not be shocked if that got canceled at all.
Oh, I read a lot of hands-on people saying it was good, actually.
Interesting. Okay, I haven't heard a lot of that.
I read a lot of hands-on people saying that, like, yeah, it's just MGS5 with 4 players surviving. Like, people were saying it was fun if a little bit artistically bankrupt was something I was reading. So I don't know.
We'll see.
Are you sure they weren't actually Konami employees?
I maybe. I do remember one of the highlights of almost every one of the accounts was "I'm surprised I liked this" or like "I didn't think I would like this" or stuff like that. But I don't know. I generally read like positive stuff. Right. I don't think they have any good reason to cancel it. Like it's not going to make good money.
Yep. Is it okay if my answer?
Okay. So
is...
do you think any of these reveals would be canceled in the following months? Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah. Maybe it's my own cynicism, or maybe it's the fact that anything I get excited for gets canceled, but I'm going to say Xbox original X backwards compatibility.
Huh.
Let's just drop it. Like, maybe get a couple games for it, but I don't see it going very far.
You mean you think they won't support it in the long term?
Yeah, I think we're going to see 10 games, like, tops.
That's like the whole library, so.
No, how dare you?
Yeah. God, Tao Feng. Ugh.
Kung Fu Fury or whatever it's called.
Katako Chojin, bro.
Kakuto Chojin.
Chocobo Chojo.
Oh, yeah. I'm not cynical enough to think that any of these would get outright canceled, but who knows?
Yeah, I'm not gonna
You
bet
never
with
know.
that one.
No, that's fair. That's just my own, like, anything I get excited for is shit canned usually, so.
Nothing really jumped out at me as like cancellation material, at all. Actually, everything seemed pretty pretty fine. I don't know. Did anything jump out at you guys?
Other than Metal Gear, that was about it.
Next one. Bakir, Jeffrey, sorry for not pronouncing your name wrong. Were any of you surprised by any of the announcements or had leaks revealed? I think leaks did reveal a lot this year.
The leaks decimated this year.
Especially Bethesda.
Fucking gross.
Bethesda had nothing surprising for me.
Dude, Bethesda was completely leaked. Okay, let's go down the list. EA wasn't leaked. We knew that there was going to be a new BioWare game, and we knew that there was going to be Star Wars Battlefront. A Way Out was completely surprising. They just had nothing else to show. Xbox, both of their exclusives leaked, Forza and Ori. And the stuff that didn't leak was Metro, the Darwin Project, if that was a new game. Dragon Ball Z Fighters leaked. Black Desert we knew was coming. Most of this stuff is known stuff. Life is Strange also leaked, which would have been... a bunch of their stuff leaked. Bethesda, I think everything leaked except Doom VFR, I think. Ubisoft, everything leaked except for Skull and Bones and Starlink.
I think what helped out Beyond Good and Evil is the fact that everyone... There's been so many fake rumors about it. No one would believe them.
Beyond Good and Evil has been leaked so many times, I think nobody saw it coming.
I think not following any leaks made me excited all the time.
That's good. Well, that's a good way to live.
I mean, in my defense, I wasn't following them. I just see the headline, and it's like, oh, well, there it is.
If you exist on Twitter, you're gonna see stuff regardless.
Yeah,
not if
like
you block everyone. No, I'm just kidding.
Monster Hunter World and Shadow of the Colossus were known ahead of time. The Marvel Infinite character roster. Sony had a good amount of not leaked stuff, but it was pretty much all their VR Power Hour. And then everything else. Yeah, and then Nintendo, nothing was leaked from Nintendo, but nothing was shown or nothing was thrilling. So not much surprise. I think the most surprising was probably Metroid Prime 4 because it was it's Prime. It is Prime. It's not another Metroid. Yeah. It's Prime.
It is not well done or medium rare.
But I gotta say, as far as the leak percentage, I feel like it was higher than in previous years by a real good amount. I feel.
And I mean I had heard some murmurs about a few weeks ago about a Mercury Steam Metroid, and from various places, because that game was kind of talked about among the press early.
That game was like 2 years ago, there was a video about it from Liam Robertson. And he's like, oh man, I feel so vindicated right now.
Okay, That Ain't Marf said, do you think Nintendo has any other surprises? We kind of already talked about that. Do you think Sega will ever release Phantasy Star Online 2 out here? Liam?
I guess I'll start with PSO2 then. I still think they will, but it's irritating that it's taking so long.
You want to start a new bet?
Nah.
Okay.
Last one went sour, so hey. Do you think Nintendo has any other surprises? Undoubtedly. They have a lot of development staff.
Yeah.
No question they've got lots of games in development. Maybe they should fire lots of no. Yeah, no question they've got lots of surprises, but I do wish we could have been let in on one of them.
The Sushi Sudo, dude. That's it.
Yeah, they showed the sushi game. That was actually, it was genuinely a surprise. I'm not thrilled for it.
Okay, so I felt that some people were tweeting about it ahead of time, and I felt kind of sad for them because people were expecting it to be something else besides, they were expecting to smash something.
That's all on them, man.
Yeah.
It is.
No, PSO2 will never be localized.
I'll agree with
officially, yeah.
Okay, last question that we're able to answer. There's a couple more, but they're kind of general. Sorry if I didn't get to them. Poxnixils asks, what's your most standout single moment during any trailer shown? I think that had to be the grappling hook that came out during Monster Hunter, because I was not expecting that.
That had to be, that was a good one. For me, it definitely had to be Mario possessing things with his hat. That was the most standout moment for me.
That was the most horrifying moment.
Cronenbergian.
Same trailer, but mine was realizing that it was Mario and not Monster Hunter.
I think there were trailers that I liked pound for pound more than Metroid Prime 4, but I think when the number 4 was on the screen, I think that was the most standout, like, single moment.
I got disappointed because I thought it was going to be Skate 4.
Yeah, I saw that. I think Beyond Good and Evil 2 and Mario and Rabbids both excited me more as far as, like, their full presentation at Ubisoft's thing, because there was, like, a lot of stuff to see in the big CG thing, and they talked about it a little bit. But, like, for single moment, yeah, when the number 4 popped up, and I was like, damn, they're doing Prime 4 specifically. Dang, that was a good moment.
And I did watch, like, a lot of reaction videos to that, and that was entertaining.
You can really tell the men from the boys.
Yeah.
You can really tell. A bunch of people were like, yo, that's Metroid, the instant they saw stars. Which is great. We did good. But then a bunch of people are like, what is this? Smash 4 DLC? Yeah, that was a thing.
Well, I knew as soon as I saw the Screw Attack symbol. That Screw Attack was coming back.
Announcing a new Screw Attack website. Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll finish this off. Let's plug some stuff. Liam, where can we find you?
You can find me at Rising Superstream on Twitter or on YouTube or on Twitch. And I stream shit all the time, and I archive it all on YouTube. Most of it's bad, but some of it's good. I did a good Nier Automata playthrough.
Go watch his video on Duel Masters, because that.
I did a Duel Masters video? Holy shit, thank you for reminding me. That video's a winner. It's not often that I feel that good about videos after they go out. It was really good.
Austin, where the fuck can we find you, and who the hell are you?
I don't know. My name's Austin Eruption. I've been mouth breathing most of this podcast, but you can find me at Arcadia along with the other guys, Strex, Naveed, Scrib, and who else? First, shit. We make little comedic video game videos, and I shit post a lot on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Did you actually forget Lee? The fucking
maybe
guy.
I did it on purpose, bro.
Good. I hope so, because I like him more.
Oh no! But he doesn't like Sonic 2.
That's not true. That's a lie. Yeah, it's true. He doesn't. What a fucker.
I'd get along well with him then.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, Elias, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at The Fried Critic, or you can find my writing on cgmagonline.com, or listen to my other podcast, Rocketo Punchy. We talk about anime, but me and the 4 other guys who recorded all hate anime, so it's a good time.
That's good.
All right, I'm Trungasm. You can call me Mom. I'm right here on this channel or whatever SoundCloud fucking thing you're listening to right now. This thing is 4 hours long, and I'm not looking forward to editing it. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm probably going to split into 2 parts.
Smart.
He told me it was going to be 90. 90!
Okay, next episode, I do have, like, this cast lined up, already finished. We are doing Breath of the Wild. We're going to have Jim Sterling, Super Bunny Hop, Ben King K. I might bring one of you guys on if you want to talk about it, except for Austin, because he only played 1 dungeon. That's pretty much it. Thanks for listening. I'm not going to have fun for the next 2 weeks. I have reached a bad end.